All right, live. Just trying to do a fun chit chat. Just bored. I'm really bored. So, just trying to see who here. Whatever. Yeah, I miss the days like in this space when we would just come together and just hang out and just talk and stuff like that. So, that's what I want to do. I just want to, create like a little fun little chit chat or whatever, just here by myself. Link. So that's in case anybody want to come up here. Oh, there's one person. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to my stream. If you want to come up here, look, it's just a fun little chit chat or whatever. Ain't doing nothing, ain't nothing going on. I'm just chilling. So I'm bored, just bored. So anybody want to come up here and talk? I don't got really nothing to talk about. Just, you know what I'm saying? Ain't really nothing going on. I'm bored. I'm trying to see what's up with y'all. Like, what's up? What's been going on? How y'all been? Hey, Matt. What's up, Chan? What's up? You want to come up here and talk? Look, come up here. I'm bored. Ain't got nothing going on. I just started my stream. What up? How you been, Chan? What's going on in the UK? What time is it over there? Oh, there we go. All right. What's up? Welcome to the stream. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sad, really. I'm sad. I was
Oh,
like, let me talk to folks. I just quit my job, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm sad. So
oh.
let me just talk
ca-
to people.
Firstly, I just want to say I appreciate your honesty because too many
Yeah.
people give that politically correct. Oh, I'm fine. I like that. It's refreshing.
Yeah, so I'm a little down now, but that's life. There's ups and downs in life. You got to get through them. But you got to be
But
honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying, to get through them, right? So it's
not
like,
just with yourself, but with other people as well. I like that, because too many people in this world, they always expect, it's like, what's the point of asking how someone is doing if
yeah,
you not gonna like the answer? Like, you.
yeah, I appreciate that. I always really do respect honesty. A lot of people, don't like that, but we got to know each
Exactly.
other. You know what I'm saying? We're all human beings. It's like, especially on social media, right? Because you could come on
Hmm.
media and pretend to be a whole different person than who you
Uh
really are.
huh.
And but us like,
Yeah.
what's the point of that? It's like, how are you gonna make like real connections? Like that's the whole point of social media, is like trying to build connections with people. But how are you gonna really do that if you're not really being who you really are? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
understand. So why, if you don't mind me asking, and you can say prefer not to say, what made you decide to quit your job?
Oof. So one of my managers got fired, but he was really cool. He was Egyptian or whatever, right? And he was like really cool, like. And then he made the workplace like a positive environment, but he got fired. It went straight to toxic, because like 99, I don't know what it's like out there in the UK, but out here it's like terrible leadership. Like everywhere you go, any job you get, the management, I don't know, they be on a power trip or I don't know what they be doing, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no good management, and they make the workplace like so toxic and horrible. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't tolerate disrespect. Like if I'm disrespected, I'm gonna leave. Like
No,
that's how.
no, that's understandable. That's
Yeah,
understandable.
that's
Like,
how. Like I'm
this is the problem with a lot of managers out there. They always make this is one of the reasons why employees dread going to work in the morning
I
or in
swear.
the afternoon. Doesn't matter. That's why. That's exactly why. You know, this is hell. This is another reason why some people call in sick, because they just don't want to go to work
I
because of how toxic it is. It is what it is. Let's
don't,
call a spade a spade.
I swear, and that's my toxic trait. My toxic trait is I don't put in 2 weeks. I'll just stop going to work. I'll just stop going. Like I know
Can I
that's
can I
wrong.
can I be can I be frank with you,
Yeah,
Magic? I'm gonna be 100% frank. I wouldn't consider you not going wanting to you not having the desire to go to work because it's toxic. Is I wouldn't consider that toxic.
thank you.
That's what they want you to think. I'm
You
just being honest.
for
I'm being
real?
100% honest. That's what they want you to think.
No,
We're at a stage where now we're starting to question our sanity,
yeah,
question ourselves and start gaslighting ourselves. Again, that's what they want.
it is like so much gaslighting going on because that's like a buzzword. Everybody throw it out. But once you realize that it happens so much because we're gaslighting and thinking, oh, it's normal to just go in a toxic environment and just dread it every single day and just be miserable and just to get the paycheck or whatever. But it's like to me, I was like, I can't get down with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just can't. Like there's something
And
about
that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. You see, a lot of people think that just because something is normal, that
it's not.
it's okay. It's not okay. Hell, even 8 hours of work is not okay. I,
It's real
People
shit.
are like, oh well, that's pretty normal. But again, just because it's normal doesn't mean it's okay. What next thing you know, in 20 years time, we're gonna be, 12 years is gonna be normalized,
For
and
real.
people are gonna start to think that's normal, that's okay. No, no, no. There's a
Real.
lot of things that we do in life that
Mhm.
are normalized, but that doesn't mean it's okay.
I agree with you because I watch these documentaries. It's still like normalized in like Asian countries, like China and places like that, because they never like how like Europeans or whatever, especially in America, they revolted against it because they were like all these toxic, crazy practices about like they would lock them indoors and like do all these crazy things and abuse the workers and stuff. And so they revolted. So that's how we got like the 40-hour work week. Like you have to have time off, and you have to have breaks because they revolt. Like if you don't stand up against something, nothing's gonna change. But like in Asian countries that never happened because they're in the mindset of like, oh, this is good, like this is how it's supposed to be, right? So
Mhm.
it's like I'm happy that like people revolted against that, so we gotta still we still got a lot of work to do when it comes to like our workplace environments and our like trying to the work culture and stuff like that. We still got a lot of work to do, so it's like
Mhm.
you know
I'm gonna be frank with you,
mm,
and I want to give a disclaimer because I'm a respectful dude.
yeah,
Uh, this is absolutely no attack at you, since you are
mhm,
a parent,
yeah,
because I'm not saying this is all parents, but I honestly believe that the way that the world is, because I think the cons outweigh the pros.
hmm,
In my opinion, as of 2023, it's just best that people just don't procreate.
no,
Again, I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I'm
I
not.
totally get
eh,
it. No, as a
huh?
parent, like,
What
whew,
did you say?
I totally get it because I have
Yeah.
3 kids and it's very over.
That's why I give that disclaimer, because
I
I don't want you to think
get it.
I'm coming at you just because you're a
No,
parent.
I get it. Like I ain't even. I'm not mad at that at all. Like I don't.
Hmm.
I think that's pretty reasonable, honestly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Like I see this movement too a lot, like the child free movement. Like a lot of people are like, oh, because I think that's weird that people try to like it's such a people try to force people into doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's weird. Like why would you try to force people? Or that's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like why
Are you talking about forcing people to have children?
kids? Yeah, especially
Right.
on women. Especially it's such a like, oh, you have to have kids by this certain age or do this or like
Yeah.
why do people, because I hear a lot of child free people and like the shit they get for their choices and shit like that. I'm like, why do people
Hmm.
care? Like why do you care if somebody else is doing with their life? Like who cares? Like if somebody chooses not to have kids, why does that bother you? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the problem is, a lot of people are so, and I'm not justifying this, believe me, but a lot of people are extremely indoctrination is a superpower. Not in
Wrong.
a good way, but it's a
Wrong.
superpower. Like, people are so conditioned into having this pointless mindset. Emphasis on pointless, because I'm just calling a spade a spade. It is a pointless mindset of preserving
Yeah,
humanity and
like
continuing it,
yeah,
but it's pointless.
there's goddamn billions of motherfuckers on here. You know what I'm saying? I've been thinking about it too, because like where I live out in like Washington State, they're dealing with like a big like homeless crisis and like a drug epidemic. And I always think to myself, damn, this was somebody's child. This is somebody's baby that
Right.
how their
I
life
feel sorry
out.
for homeless
Sad.
people. I really do.
Yeah, and it's sad. And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not. Not everybody's really supposed to be a parent, and we got to stop getting out of that mindset. Like everybody got to have kids. Like not everybody got to have.
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Look,
yeah.
this is why, for me, just as of right now, I'm not talking about past, I'm talking about like right now, just my opinion. You don't have to have my opinion, but again, I'm just speaking for myself. This is why I think it's just better. Okay, one thing you need to know about me, I'm not only child free, but I'm antinatalist as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing about me, as in, and it's all in good intention, it's all in the name of preventing suffering. I think it's just best to never have been, like, I'm talking about myself and just humanity in general.
Yeah, because I do struggle a lot with my kid, and we can't even talk about it as parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you try to open up and talk about your when you ain't supposed to feel like that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's crazy that it's like so. It's like for some
Hello?
people.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you still
Hear me?
there?
Oh, can you hear me? Let me turn off the mic. Can you hear me?
Uh, I can hear you now. I can
Oh,
hear you now.
sorry, my it was probably going in and out. But like I was saying, it's crazy how it's like it's not really forced, but more like expected to, like as like you said, the indoctrination thing. But on top of that, it's like when if you do become a parent based on like societal expectations or whatever, it's like you can't even talk about your struggles as a parent. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to have no struggles. It's supposed to be all peaches and cream, and like it's weird that like that.
Yeah, no,
You know?
about that. Yeah, I think, you being a parent, if you have struggles, like, whether you're a parent or not, you should be able to voice your struggles. Like,
Yeah, thank you. Because it's like
yeah, yeah,
we need some spaces to be able to like even that's why we created these little biracial spaces because we wanted to have spaces.
to voice your experiences. Like, you want a safe space to voice your experiences. Hello?
Yeah,
Right. No, that's understandable. There's nothing wrong with that. Whether the experiences were good or bad, they are experiences nonetheless. And you just want a safe space to voice that, to share that, and to see, you want to share it with people who may be able to relate to those experiences. You want to see, like, hey, how many of you can relate? That's understandable.
exactly. Because the thing about feelings, they come and go. You know what I'm saying? When they bottled up,
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I was saying something earlier, but I was being cut off. But about the whole antinatalism thing. So, what was I saying? I was saying that for me, it's all in the name of like preventing suffering. Like, and again, I'm not talking about the past. I'm just talking about like present, in present tense. Like, hypothetically, I think it's just better to not never have been. That's just my opinion. I'm not speaking for everyone else. Just me.
I feel that. I feel that. Honestly, I'd be like, damn.
Hmm.
It's like I honestly, because life is, you try to make the most out of life, but it just be hitting you. Like there's so many things, so many factors that are out of your control that
Hmm. Hmm.
it's gonna be hitting hard. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hitting hard. And
And it makes it more difficult when you have children as well, like, because you think about it, the reality is this: we were brought into this world to work and sleep most of our lives, yet have such little time to ourselves, and on top of that, having children, three children, then it's gonna really consume. Sorry, I'm not me, I never say these with bad intentions or to put
no,
you
I
down or whatever.
what you're saying.
you,
Pick
you
up.
understand where I come from?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I get
so
it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it.
So
I
when you have children, then it makes it really consumes your life. Because let's say you want to go here, you want to go there, but you have to focus 18 plus years of your life on, a child, let alone three. So yeah, there's that. It's what do you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
saying, yeah,
because it's
it's
the way
really sad.
society set up. Because honestly, I'd be jealous of like I look at like African societies, and I hate that like the Europeans have convinced us that they're like, oh, they're so primitive and we're so advanced. We got all this
Mm,
technology, we got all this da 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 da. And they're like left behind.
mhm,
But I'm like, they're living free, natural fucking lives. They don't have to pay to live here. Like, who the fuck thought of it was a good idea to sit here? Oh, you got to pay to exist. Like, what the fuck is
mhm.
this? Like, I
Yeah,
think
it's a pointless existence,
it's so
as human beings.
stupid. It's so pointless because it's like we're trapped in this like they say the Matrix. We're trapped in like this
I
society.
heard about that. I
You know
haven't
what
seen
I'm
the
saying?
movie, but
You've
I've
never
heard it's
seen
something
the
to do with
movie?
that. No,
No,
you're
you tripping, dog. You tripping.
you're talking to someone who hasn't even seen the movie Titanic.
Are you fucking serious? You tripping, dog.
I've seen the ending of Titanic,
You
but
tripping,
not
dog.
the whole movie.
I would say the Matrix is more important than Titanic. The Titanic is like, oh, it's like a cute. It's not. It's like, yeah. But I would say the Matrix. Yes, the Matrix.
Yeah,
It's such a good movie.
but,
10 out of 10.
don't spoil it for me though. I'll definitely watch the movie.
10 out of 10. It's a great
Uh
movie.
huh. I
Yeah.
can imagine. I can
Yeah.
imagine.
It's
But yeah,
ridiculous.
it really is a pointless existence, because it's like, why are we here? Why are we here?
Real.
And in my opinion, there is no reason. We're just, for some big bang happened and now we're all here. But it's like people say, we need to,
For,
continue the species.
for
I'm
what?
like,
For what?
we are destructive
Mm-hmm.
towards not just ourselves, but even to animals and just everything around us. And there is some guilt sometimes that I feel like,
Exactly.
because
Because
even myself, like, even if it's not intentional, like, I'm doing something that's affecting, like, for example, this iPhone that I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max, right?
mm-hmm.
But apparently there's a reputation that Apple have where
Yes.
apparently I don't know, something about sweatshops, I don't know, basically
Yeah, and
there's some
they got
slavery
like,
happening.
outside of their buildings, so people don't when people jump off the buildings. I guess they're having a big problem with suicide because they're overworking the shit out of them. You know, because you
Something
got
about,
yeah,
sweatshops in China, or was that Apple?
yeah, that's Apple. Yeah,
Yeah,
there is something that went viral about like sweatshops, like how they have
right.
nets to like if people try to jump off the building, it'll catch them so that because people are so suicidal.
It's insane, and this is
Isn't
what
that
I'm talking
crazy?
about.
That's fucking crazy.
It's insane. And I think Ricky Gervais, do you know Ricky Gervais?
No, who's that?
Ricky Gervais is a British comedian, right? He, remember the Golden Globes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Oh yeah,
he
yeah, yeah. I
was
know
the
exactly who
host.
you're talking about. He was roasting everybody. I know
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, 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 yeah. He was like, well, you say you're woke, but
Mm-hmm.
the companies you work for, Amazon, Disney, if ISIS had a streaming service, you'll call your agent, that stuff like that.
Yeah, all this wokeness going on and people, they hijacked that term though. You know how like woke is like associated with being liberal and like transgenderism and like all this other stuff that it was not like because I remember in the beginning like when people said oh you're woke it was mostly being like aware of like what we're talking about being aware of like how fucked up society is and how fucked up the government is and then it turned into like I don't know like the liberals stole it and they like
Hmm.
so it completely like that whole term got like hijacked. You know what I'm
Uh-huh,
saying?
uh-huh.
Into like
No,
being
I totally
not,
understand.
so it's like,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, so it's just crazy that, what we're talking
Hmm.
about, like really being aware.
I'm very patient with people who, remember, earlier I mentioned the term indoctrination and how it's basically a superpower. Not a good superpower, but a superpower nonetheless. I'm very patient with people who are indoctrination, who have been indoctrinated, because, can you hear me?
Yep, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I was just checking. Okay, so yeah, yeah, I'm very patient with people who have been indoctrinated in life, because you can't, you know when people have been indoctrinated, it's not their fault, is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
It's not their fault. Like,
Nobody's immune to it too. Like I always say, nobody's immune to propaganda. Everybody thinks they're too smart or too this. It's like nobody's immune to it because it's on
yeah,
an emotional level.
yeah. What happens is you get indoctrinated, but you wake up from that eventually. It takes time. It's like being indoctrinated to believe in religion, for example. But that, any kid can get indoctrinated, but as they get older, they start to question things. So that's pretty normal. Like, that's usually how it works. You
Yeah,
can't just fight indoctrination as a
yo,
kid
I think that's
because
a
you don't
big
know any better.
yeah, because I think that's a big part of like adults' life because you realize how much you've been lied to and indoctrinated into believing
Uh-huh.
that like life is a certain way, but it's like nah, it ain't really like that because nobody really trying to be honest because the truth is sad and the truth will hurt you, so nobody really trying to tell the truth to kids because it's hurtful. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's because we don't want to. You know what I'm saying? And people are in
Hmm.
denial about a lot of things, so
That's
it's like
true. That's true. And you know what's funny to me? A lot of people, they say they recognize that the negatives outweigh the positives. Sorry,
Mhm.
let me rephrase that. I'll just say good and bad. A lot of people recognize the way the world is, that the bad outweighs the good.
Yeah,
An emphasis on outweigh. So it doesn't matter if there are more positives, I mean, more good than bad. That doesn't mean that the bad doesn't outweigh. It's like one
exactly.
human being can outweigh two human beings, even though
Mm,
there are more. You get my logic. So yeah,
yeah,
with that being said, when people, a lot of people, they use that phrase, that's life. I'm like, if
that's
you
right.
recognize that, you know, if you recognize the way the world is, then why bring children? If you're gonna say that, oh, that's life, you're gonna
That's right.
suffer, you're gonna do, like, I've heard people literally say, you're gonna suffer, you're gonna X, Y, and Z, all this bad stuff, and still have children. I'm like, Why? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I swear, yeah. I mean, I support people who make that decision. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
like it's totally logical and rational.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
think, yeah, it
and
is.
it doesn't come from a place of malice. It's just
No,
about the here and the now, not about past and this and that. I'm just saying, you know, right now, future. In my opinion, I just think it's best that all human beings, you know, myself, my parents,
let's
you
just go to
know, just
Mars.
it's just better to well, or just never have been. But you know, I don't want to. We don't want to cause havoc on Mars either.
No, God.
You know, banter.
Or the
Yeah.
moon or whatever. They're trying to colonize different planets now and
Uh
take
huh.
from Earth and all this craziness that's going on. So it's
Do you
like,
remember when I was making the jokes? When you were on my live stream, I was laughing because of the whole tree hugger thing. I
oh
wasn't one of
yeah,
those people that
yeah,
were making fun
I
of tree
remember.
huggers. It's just
Yeah.
it was just innocently funny, you know, like because
Hmm.
like you're hugging something that doesn't move. It is freaking hilarious to me. Like
Exactly.
there's some people that you know that will make fun of a tree hugger like out
Hmm.
of spite. Me, I just it's just one of those things where it's just funny.
Exactly.
Have you
It's
actually hugged a tree before ever?
yeah.
It's just
I
funny to
was a
me.
hippie. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
definitely. I had a hippie era for
Hey,
sure. I
hey,
was like,
more
I was like
power to you.
vegan. I was all vegan, and I was like, yeah, I definitely had a hippie era at one point in my life. You know.
Are you still vegan to this day?
No,
Okay.
no.
What
It was like a
you
social thing. You know, I was living in the South. Everybody having good cookouts and barbecues, and I was like, I
uh-huh.
can't keep this up. So that's what
Why
happened.
couldn't you keep it up? Like the temptation of
It was like
the
a social
meat?
thing. Yeah, you know how like food is very important, like culture and stuff. To feel like
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Did
people.
someone force you to eat meat?
No, they forced me, but I was like, it was all me. You know, it was my choice. I was like,
Okay.
I ain't gonna keep this up. You know, it was funny. I had my husband going vegan, and I was gonna raise my kids like that, but I ain't really stick with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's
But
like,
okay, but what made you
oh, it
change
was
your mind?
good.
Like
You
I
know what?
don't
On top of
go on.
that, everything's so expensive. Like that's why I'm saying, I'm like, you know what? People in like African countries and like tribal countries and stuff, they have it so good because we have to pay extra. Like you get all that shit for free, natural and organic. Like they slap a fucking big ass price tag and all this stuff, and it's like, why are we? It's like we create problems and then charge people for the solutions. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like
Wait,
that.
I'm confused. Sorry. I didn't understand. So you said they have it better in Africa?
Yeah, because they get just eat natural and there's this girl on TikTok. I let start like she was like explaining like all these different fruits that she eats. Like she's so beautiful. Dang, you should put her on your channel. I'm gonna send you. I gotta email you the her. Like she's beautiful. She's good representation for black women. I think because she's like a
I-
real black woman.
Is she dark?
Yes, she's
All right,
beautiful.
cool.
She has her natural hair, and she's one of
All
those
right.
beautiful women in the world, I believe. And
All right.
I'm gonna send her to you. I think you should put her on your channel. But
No,
she
no,
was
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you know, you could definitely send her like via email. Like my email's in my about section. So yeah, just send me
yeah,
the name.
I'm gonna
And
email
yeah.
her to you. And she had a YouTube
Cool.
channel too. She got a YouTube channel, and she was just explaining all these like beautiful like fruits and stuff. And I'm just like, dang,
Oh wait. Is
you know what
she
I'm talking
from
about?
Uganda? Is she from Uganda?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's already in my videos. Her name is
Yeah, that's her.
Angela
That's her.
Summer
I think
Namubiru.
she's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah, she's super
Oh
pretty.
yeah, that is an
Yeah.
African woman,
Oh
definitely.
yeah. She's beautiful. And
The
yeah.
real deal. But yeah.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. I'm just like, man, I wish I could like I don't know, American society is so like, consumerism.
It's all about money.
It's
Everything's
all
about
about
money, money,
money.
money.
And it's like so like when it comes to like food and stuff like that, it's like, all these corporations they lobby political so they can like a lot of shit we eat is banned in other countries. You know what I'm saying? Like
No, I
stuff like
see.
that. So we
No, I
live in like
see. I
a
see.
courtocracy where it's like the corporates run shit because they want to be able to like run shit and pass laws that benefit them. And then it's
Hmm.
not about protecting us and protecting the consumer that where we're eating this shit and we're dying and getting obese and getting fat and getting,
You,
you know,
you know
it's
what?
bad.
As you're saying that, I just want to say this, like, based on what you just said, the reality is this: the world, as of right now, and it's gonna keep happening, is basically about slavery now. Like, you know,
Yeah, it's still
it's
we're slaves. Like we are
yeah,
but we
it
think we're
is what it
free.
is.
But that's we're indoctrinated thinking that we're free, that we got all these, but we don't really got like free will. You can't just you could go live homeless, you could go be a homeless person on the street. A lot of people are doing that. Like I said, there's a huge homeless crisis where I'm at right now. But it's like
Hmm.
that either that or you're gonna be a slave, basically. Or what you're gonna scam people just like what's his name? Andrew Tate. Like he was fucking
Right.
pimping bitches on webcam so he could escape the matrix and shit, right? So it's like,
It's
what are the options?
crazy. It's
What are the
so
yeah.
do you get, even though you, whether you may agree or disagree, that's totally fine. But do you at least get my logic of where
Hmm.
I'm coming from when I say it's just better to, like, all human beings to just not have been, like, as of right now, like, just to prevent all the suffering
Need a
that,
reset. We need a reset.
or that too. But I'm just, in terms of just being realistic, like, it's just better to, like parent or no parent. I'm just saying, as of right now, it's just better to just not have children anymore.
Mm.
Like, I think it's just the logical reason, because we don't want to bring people into this world, like, where people just become slaves, because it doesn't matter what work you're doing. You could be doing the most fun job, and still be a slave.
Yeah, because
that
you have
that's that's
to,
the reality.
because you have to, unless you like save up millions and trillions of dollars. But who could do that? Because they make life so expensive where you can't even,
Let me
rent.
tell you something, Magic. There are footballers, and I love football. When I say football, I mean the real football, not hand egg.
Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, football. So there are footballers who make millions, but they don't enjoy their profession. Like,
Really?
you know why? Because even though they're making millions, money isn't everything. Because you know at the end of the day, they're still dictated on, what the times, like, they're not self-employed. Remember, footballers are
Mm,
not self-employed.
yep.
So
They're slave too.
they're told, you gotta work out at this time, you gotta
Man.
come to training at this time, you gotta play football at this time. So you know what I mean. So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, that's why I said earlier, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like,
It
at
don't.
the end of the day, your hours, your time is being dictated by someone else.
And who made the world like this? You know what I'm saying? Was it Europeans or was it who the
i,
fuck
I
decided?
have no idea. I just know it's humans, and
Humans.
it's not worth it's not, its existence is not worth living.
You know,
I'm just, that's just my opinion. It's just
you
my
know the
opinion.
worst human trait that I think that is just like immutable. No
What?
matter who you are, this is the worst human trait. It's like, it's like the whole power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's like anytime like anybody gets power over like another person or another group or another it's always gonna be corrupted no matter what. You know what I'm saying? That's like the
Mhm.
worst human trait. Like they always abuse power because if you feel like there's no consequences to your actions, you're gonna do whatever the fuck and just
Yeah,
it's humans,
and
you know?
I'm starting to think that that's the nature, not justifiable, but I'm thinking, wow, this is really the nature of human beings. Like,
Exactly.
people, if they have power, they will abuse
They
it.
will always abuse it. Always, anybody.
Yeah, I think there
Even
are
that's
significant
what
amount
happened
of
at my
people.
job. That's why I wanted to
Right.
quit my job because I got there was this one lady, you know, and it's like I feel like they're gonna abuse their power for sure. So I'm just like
That's
out of here. I'm getting
That's
out of
it.
here.
It
Like
seems like the average employer or manager does that. It
yeah,
shows that, in my opinion, a
power.
significant amount of people in this world, if not most people, are narcissists.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
No, for
So,
real.
thank God that, for me, thank God I'm not bringing children to this world in this day and age. Thank God, thank God.
Because I got to deal with 99% of narcissists. And
Hmm.
then that they like, I don't know. Do you think that dealing with narcissistic abuse like creates narcissism, or you think it's just like you're born with
It
what you
can
think?
create a narcissist, because remember, like, you could, let's say, if you're not you, of course, but, like, let's say if someone's a narcissist and they have children, and
Hmm.
they're narcissistic towards their children, those children who may either become empaths or narcissists. One of
Yep.
the Yeah, it's
Yep.
either
I
one
heard
or the
that.
other.
Yeah, because I heard somebody made so much sense. Like empaths, they are like that because they have to be super like hyper tuned to like their environment and like especially if they have like a narcissistic parent because any little wrong thing they do it'll like set them off. And so it's like they have to be super hyper aware of like every little emotion or any little,
Yeah,
so that's like
because,
what empath.
yeah,
A lot of people.
they get over, at early age, at some point, like, they got over criticized and micromanaged for
Yeah.
every little
So
thing.
they're
So
like
now
super
they're at a
hyper
stage,
aware.
yeah,
Yeah.
now they're at a stage where they have to walk around on eggshells and always ask for approval, because their whole lives they've been told that everything they do is wrong.
Yeah, and that's why okay, because when you go into a job, like any job I go to, I always judge it by like who been there the longest, right? And if they're miserable and just horrible and just like I hate everybody, I'm like, this is not. I'm not gonna stay here long because I don't want to
That's
become.
understandable.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't want to become that. Like I don't want to. Like I just know I don't want to get out of character. Like I know who I am. I don't want to let like an environment or something change me into something that I don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what happens
Yeah.
though. We have to. It has to happen because it's like you have to adapt to like what it is. And if you're like
Imagine
always being
you
treated
need
like
to
shit,
prioritize.
yeah.
You need to prioritize your sanity over money.
Yes,
Believe me.
exactly.
Because
I
what's the
love
point?
that. Yo, somebody needs to put that on a t-shirt, on a billboard. Prioritize your sanity. Like that's
Yeah.
poetic right there. Like I love that. Like
Uh,
I like
well,
that.
that's just
I like that.
Chammeister, isn't
That's
it?
good. No, that's really good. Like that's
No.
gonna stick with me. I really like
Yeah.
that
But
because
it's
that's what
true.
you got to do. Because they society, they don't want you to
They
do that.
expect you to
They want
put
to prioritize
your
money.
life and soul, they
Mm-hmm.
expect you to sacrifice your life and soul for the company that doesn't even care about you.
Give a damn about you. That's why.
They
That's
don't.
why. Exactly. Because they don't give a damn about you. I seen like somebody say that they're like, you know what? This whole putting your 2 weeks. It's like they don't give you no 2 weeks. They'll just fire your ass right then and there. So that's why I'm like, you know what? That's why I walk the fuck out whenever the fuck I want to because they would
And
treat me the exact same way. So
and here's another bit of hypocrisy about these companies, right? If you try to call them, let's say if you have the personal number of, let's say, a manager, just hypothetically, and you
mhm.
message them or you call them, and they say not to call people on their days off. I'm like, yeah, it's okay for you to call me on
Exactly.
my day off
Why did
to
that
ask me
happen
to
to
come to
me?
work. Do
That
you get what I'm
that
saying?
literally happened to me. Like I messaged like somebody and they're like, oh, I was doing. Like they're not available, but I was like. I know they would treat me like that, like on my day off or whatever. I'm like, because they have like Slack now. They have like this thing, like this app where it's like you always got to check it. I'm like, I'm not checking that. Like if I'm not at work, like what's the point? Like I'm not sitting here trying to. I'm not checking all that. Like I'm not. No.
But you get what I'm saying. I'm saying like with managers, like for example, let's say you message a manager. It doesn't even have to be a phone call, but you could just
Mhm,
message and ask them something important, and they say like to call the store or something like that rather than
mhm,
messaging them, like
mhm,
because people on their like don't contact people on their days off. But I'm like,
mhm.
you're the same person who will contact one of your employees on their days off to see if they can come to work, like to cover
Yeah.
someone's shift. I'm like, that's hypocritical.
It's rules for thee, but not for me, right? It's like I'll make all these rules for myself, but I could do anything and treat you any kind of way. That's kind of how it is. And it's
Right.
always like I hate that. It's always like us versus like upper management, always, because they're always trying to find ways to like make sure we make as less money as possible so they can have as much profit. So it's always like us versus them. It's never like and they always try to make it seem like like we're a work family or this or that. But it's like no matter what company you go to,
That's bull.
yeah, that's bullshit. Because no
Work
matter what company
family.
you go
They
to,
don't care
yeah,
about
they don't
you. Work
care. They don't give a
family.
damn. Because it's
They
like
don't. That's the reality of this
that's the
world, and
reality.
this is why I have my. This is why I have followed this philosophy. You know which one I was referring to. That's why I'm saying as of right now I follow this philosophy because, yeah, it's just better that way because it's either here's one thing you need to know about me. Just me personally. I'm the type of person where if it's like on one hand it's a lose-lose situation because on one hand if I'm working for someone, obviously everything we state, like management is just abusive, narcissistic, etc. But on the other hand, if I want to be self-employed,
Mm-hmm.
uh then I'd be profiting off of the unfortunate, and I don't want to do that.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Because you know how we're so indoctrinated to always chase wealth. We're always chasing money.
I'm
Like
empathetic.
they
I'm
try to make it seem
empathetic.
like that's our purpose. Like if you're not rich, then you're just a waste of time. You're lazy. You're unproductive. You're nothing.
No, but the thing
Whatever.
is, either way, I'm gonna feel um like it's not a win-win for me because
Mm-hmm.
like I don't want to be in their position. Like I don't want, just for me
Exactly.
personally, I don't
That's
want to.
real.
I would feel guilty having people work under me
Yeah.
because I would know how they felt. It's like
They're
I
not.
wouldn't want to work for someone.
They're not gonna
Why
be able.
would I have people work
Yeah.
for me if I know how they feel?
Because they're not gonna be able to like live off of this shit. Like most jobs, like you're not gonna be able to live off of it. But I realized that like once I got older and you realize what people really have to do to like really be rich, like, you're gonna have to fuck people over. Like you're gonna if you like have a company, you're gonna have to pay these people as little as possible so you can make as much money so you could get rich. But they can't be rich because if they rich,
A
they're
lot
probably not
of
gonna work
rich
there.
people
So
are narcissists. Have you noticed that?
yeah, they don't give a damn about nothing. They're just out to get what they. And it's like I can't do that. Like I don't want to participate in that as well. That's why I'm like I kind of want to give up the fantasy. It's like I've been like trying to live in this fantasy. Oh, I want to be rich and this and that. But it's like it's all like a fantasy. It's all just to get us continue to work hard and chase things that like it's not going to happen for you unless you get into that position where you're the one fucking people over and paying people pennies and peanuts And so it's like
In a
I
nutshell,
don't want to
it's
be in
either
that
be a
position.
slave or have slaves work for you. I don't want to be either.
Be a slave or have slaves. Like that's
Yeah, both is
society.
both are wrong. Both
Yikes.
are wrong.
They're both in fucked up positions. So it's like, damn,
Yeah,
damn.
so that's why I said the whole, it's better to never have been, so you can avoid both. That's just my opinion.
For real, because I was talking about because I did one like stream last night. Like, what's it like
Right.
me? We deal with like an extra dynamic of like being like a biracial like in the workplace because it's like no matter where you go, you're always gonna be singled out. You're always gonna be treated like a certain way. You're always gonna be, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
dealt with
yeah.
that a lot, so it's like damn. Like I want like in order to escape that, I'd have to have my own business, but then I would have to. I would rather just be self-employed, like have a skill or something, and then I could just do
Hmm.
my little skill, like learn how to like something like that where it's like I can make money off a skill, but I don't want to have a bunch of people working for me because
Exactly.
you know what
I thought I was the only one. I had that mindset. I'm like, I don't want
I mean?
anyone to
No,
work for me.
I don't want that. I really don't
Yeah,
want that because
I'd feel like, can I say the S word on your channel?
yeah, go ahead.
I would feel like absolute shit having anybody work for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I would rather just work for myself and
I'd
owning
rather just
myself.
work for
No,
myself at this point. Yeah.
there are some psychopaths that have no problem having people work under them.
But
Like they don't give a
honestly,
crap how like their slaves feel.
they don't because look, somebody broke it down like this too. Because in slave, like real slave time, like in 1800s and whatever, it's like what they got a place to stay, they got food,
Hmm,
and that's
hmm.
about it. So it's like nowadays you can't even afford that. You can barely afford food. You can't even get a place to stay. So it's like
Right.
like
This is
this.
why a lot of young people are living with their parents. And
Yes,
you know what's
it's
stupid? You know
sad.
what's
Yeah,
stupid about people? What's
yeah.
stupid about people is based on the fact that a lot of young people, when I say young people, I'm talking like 20s or even early 30s or whatever. You get the idea. But are shamed for living with their parents considering the freaking like
Oh,
the pricing of housing. I'm like, are you
we're
kidding
still
me?
living in that mindset. Oh, you're supposed to leave by 18, have an apartment, have a house
It's
by
stupid.
30.
People don't
Like,
even have jobs by
that's
18. They just
unattainable for
turned
most
18 and
people.
you want to kick people out at the age of 18.
Oh,
What kind of culture is that?
I don't like that. That's weird, right?
That
Because
shit. It's like you might as
people.
well not have children, period.
No, I swear, because I was just thinking about that today. I'm like, you're a parent for life. Like people think, oh, it's 18 years and then it's over. No, bitch, you're in it for the rest of your fucking life. Like the rest of your
Some
fucking
say
life.
that that's a Western culture thing because apparently in
People
Asia and
waste.
Africa, like
They
it's
don't do that.
okay, like it's not taboo to
Hispanic
live with
people,
your
they don't kick
parents.
your ass out. They make sure you're good before you leave. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right. That's the whole point. You have children and they grow up. If they just turn 18, let like they just turned 18. They haven't even got a job yet, but you want to kick
some
them out
people
already because they turned 18? That's stupid.
some people even get kicked out younger than that. I was at my job. This guy, he was like 20 years old. He said he got kicked out at 15. I'm like, God damn,
Insane.
that's
If
crazy.
you
I'm like, how do
if
you get kicked out at 15? You can't get a job. Like, where are you gonna live out? You're gonna be homeless. He's like, yeah, I was homeless for a long time. And I was like, oh my
if you
god,
ever kick
I
someone,
don't like that.
if you ever kick a child at the age of 15, 18,
Crazy, right?
if you kick them out and they're not even ready to
Nowhere
move,
to go. Like, what are you gonna
then
do?
honestly, this is just me. Two things. One, you're absolute scum, and
I
two,
agree.
you should never have been a parent.
No,
In
no.
my opinion, you should never have
But
been a
that's still a
parent.
child. Like, that's still like a baby. Like, what is a 15-year-old like? That's crazy. Like,
This is
'cause-
why, hey, Magic.
mm,
This is why a lot of adult children don't talk to their
they
parents
don't talk to their parents.
nowadays.
Mm. I ain't mad at it, because me as a parent, parenting's so hard. Like it is like 10 times harder than because like first of all, you never know what you're gonna get, right? You never know what type of child you're gonna get. So it's like a
That's
lot
a
of people.
fact.
A lot of people be fantasizing, oh, my child's like I dealt with this as a parent. It's like, oh, my child's gonna be
Uh-huh.
like this, and it's like they're the complete opposite. So it's like you gotta and then on top of that, it's like your children inherit like some of your worst traits sometimes, right? I feel that like some of my kids they inherit some of my worst, and it triggers me. And it's like this is from me. Like it's like a reflection of
Mhm,
yourself. So it's like you got to
mhm,
face yourself. And a lot of people they don't like themselves. So it's like, oh, I don't,
mhm, mhm.
So it's like I had to deal with like facing myself and learning how to like love myself in a way so I don't like take it out on my kid. Like I'm not gonna be angry because my kid's acting like me. Like you know what I'm saying? Like a lot
Mhm,
of parents do
mhm.
that. They be mad because they're acting like them. So it's like
Yeah, yeah. There's some parents that have this mindset, this toxic mindset of do as I say, not as I do.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
Like, yo, kids were. it's in their nature to copy their parents. They
Mhm.
copy parents. How do you think they're able to
It
talk in the first
works.
place? Because they copied other human beings. They copied their parents. When their parents talk, the kids talk.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is what parents need to understand. Yo, the
Mhm.
kids are gonna copy you. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do. Lead, and if you're gonna say something to your kid, lead by example.
Exactly. I agree. 100%.
And I don't need to be a parent in order to say that. Just like it's
Oh,
like
it's common sense.
like some people would say, "Oh, you're not a parent," but I'm just like, I don't need to be fat in order to know that being fat is unhealthy.
Exactly. I agree with
Yeah,
that. Totally.
right. I think that's
I-
just common sense, parent or no parent. Like, do always lead by example.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I totally agree, and it's like,
right,
with the kids that are here, because they're already here. There's a lot of them that are
right.
already here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like there's
8 billion, Magic. 8 billion.
there's a lot of us. So it's like what we're doing is not working. Like I said, I seen like the homeless epidemic, the drug epidemic, like all this shit. It's like these are human beings. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's not working. There's like so many people who are just opting out of society because society's fucked up. It don't matter if you're
Mhm.
black, white, biracial, like society's fucked up for all of us. Like
It's
yeah,
very fucked up. Yeah,
yeah.
everywhere. So with that being said, Magic, hey, do you know that disclaimer, I'm not trying to get you to become one. It's up to you
Mhm.
whether you want to or not. But do you know that there is such thing as antinatalists that are parents, right?
Oh,
there's such thing.
really?
Yeah, yeah, you
I
can
heard
be
I
both.
I, I
That
watched because a lot of it comes on my feed. Like when I'm like scrolling through like social media, I seen like this one channel that was like she was reading a book, but that was written by a mom called like No Kids or whatever, and it was like a bunch of
right, right,
reasons not to have kids, and it was written by a parent. So it was
right.
like really interesting. So I was like, yeah, that
Yeah.
shows. So
It's not contradictory. It's
mhm,
just like, like there's this one channel called Social Experimentalists, and coincidentally, he's British like me, a
mm,
European Brit, like, and
mhm,
he has, coincidentally, like you, he has 3 kids, literally
yeah,
3 kids,
hmm,
and he discovered antinatalism free about a few years ago, and he became an antinatalist. So I'm saying, like, there are antinatalist parents where
interesting.
they realize they discover antinatalism and they think about it. It's like it's very logical, and they're like, you know what, it's really true. Like, the philosophy is very true. Like, life is not worth suffering. Like, life is pointless. There's absolutely no reason to have children. It's just the reality.
So
And
what do you
so
think about abortions and stuff like that? Do you believe in abortion?
that's a good question. You
Mm-hmm.
know what? When I've been asked this many times, and you know what I say? I say, because I'm not a woman, I don't know what the
Yeah,
right answer is.
exactly, exactly. So if you mess around, how to accidentally got somebody pregnant, would you like? And they were like, "I'm gonna get an abortion." I think you'd be fine. I think you would be like, "Oh, okay," but I
You
don't
know
know.
what?
What
Let
you
me put it like this. Okay, here's how I see it. There's that saying that goes around, that whole my body, my choice thing, like
think?
women's rights. That I believe in. Let's put it like that. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in that. Like, it's a woman's right to do whatever she wants with her body. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah,
And also, what if a grape situation happens? You expect the woman to
yeah.
carry the
Oh,
baby for 9 months.
right. Exactly.
You know what's funny though? It's funny how me being an antinatalist, it's funny how there are some people who claim to be against abortion,
Mm-hmm.
yet have no problem telling me to go off myself. You know what
What?
I'm saying? Don't you find
What?
that
That's
crazy? Like,
weird.
so you're
Because
against
so many
abortion
people are like,
because
yeah.
wait, hold on, sorry. So you got some people who are against abortion, who are pro-life, but will have no problem telling an antinatalist like myself to go off myself. Sorry to sound extreme, but
That's
don't you think
weird.
that's kind of ironic?
Because you're not trying to have them in the first. Because so many people make that argument of, well, you shouldn't use abortion as birth control. You should prevent it in the first place. So I'm like, if people are
Mhm,
preventing it and not even the pregnancy is not even occurring, then that should be ideal, right? Versus
mhm.
having an abortion, getting pregnant and having an abortion. So it'd be ideal to like just prevent it in the first place,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
no, I understand, but here's the problem with the whole, telling an antinatalist to go off themselves. One, I will not off myself just because someone is emotional about something, that I said that they didn't
Yeah,
like. But
exactly.
also, yeah, yeah, also, um, imagine being brought into this world only to then, just off myself. And also, I can't guarantee that it's going to be painless. And what if I do try to off myself, but I end up crippled. It's risky.
Oh. And somebody gotta take care of you. That happened.
Right.
My sister, she works in like this facility, and she told me this story about like this person. I think it was a man. He drank a bunch
Right.
of bleach trying to kill himself, but he ended up
Wow.
disabled, and he's like,
Right. You see what
yeah,
I'm
he
saying?
got
So
like
it's
brain
not that
damage or something.
so
That's
even
scary, right?
offing yourself is not easy because there's a chance you can't guarantee that you will, pass away. You can't guarantee that. It's like jumping off a cliff. Let's say you jump off a cliff, but
Hmm.
all you are left with is broken bones. What
Yeah,
if you become a vegetable? So
yeah,
you're still conscious, but you can't
that'd be
move.
fucked up. That'd be even worse.
Hmm.
Oof, that'd be even
And
fucking
some
worse.
people might not even or actually, some people will realize that you're still alive because
Hmm.
your heart will be beating technically. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
But
me,
that's a scary thought.
that
Go on.
yo, sorry, but I think that I'm in the position where I do support families, like people that already got kids or already like, it's all about choice, right? If people want to have a family that's in their, because I wanted kids, I really
Hmm.
did. I wanted kids,
Hmm.
and they didn't come in the best circumstances. That's the thing. Like it's hard having kids when you're not ready. Like that's what happened with me. So that's why I
Hmm.
was like, it was really hard to like deal with that. But
Not that you have to say, if you don't mind me asking,
mhm.
what you can say, prefer not to say, but what age did you have kids?
I was 21. I was pregnant on my 21st birthday.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
so I first had a kid. So I had my son when I was 21, and then I had like I stair stepped him. It was I was it was pretty irresponsible. Let's be honest, and
What was irresponsible? I'm
it was
confused.
irresponsible because I had two more after. Because I was like, I had two more after, and we weren't in a good
Okay.
position to like have
Oh, I
kids.
know what you mean.
So
Okay,
it was kind of
okay.
irresponsible of me. But it's I don't know. I was living like the whole mindset about it was like, oh, you just got to take care. It's just like, oh, everybody has kids when they're not ready. Like somebody told me that. I was like, I don't think I'm ready, but they're like, that's everybody. And I was
this
like,
is this is the problem. It goes back to what we were saying, or what I was saying earlier about the whole just because something is normal, and
that's
again, it
completely
goes back to the indoctrination.
cool.
So something just because something is normalized doesn't mean it's
Yeah,
okay. We need to break that.
we need to break that exactly because it's
Yeah.
really hard. Like, I feel like nobody talks about it, but there is like a certain trauma that comes with being a parent, and not before you're prepared. Like, I don't know what it's like to like. I wish I could have been like a little older and a little more stable in
Hmm.
life. Like, I think that would be a better. But once you have like an experience as a parent where you're like kind of unstable and you start having kids, and it's kind of like hard. It's like, especially in this day and age, like nobody really how can anybody afford this? Like barely. I do live with my mom. I do live with my parents because I need to like we need all that type of support. Like we all like live in like a multi
Can
generational.
I can I say
Thank
something? Can I
God,
say something? Can I
Yeah.
say something?
Hmm.
Based on what I said earlier, and I'm still gonna say this again. There's nothing, no matter what it is, no
Nothing
matter
wrong with
what
that.
reason, no matter
Yeah,
what reason, I don't care what it is. There's nothing wrong with living with your
because we were
parents.
living on our own at
Even
one point.
Zendaya lives with her parents.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that because we
Do you
had our
know
own
Zendaya lives
place
with her
at one
parents?
point, right? We got our own place, but it was
Mhm.
so overwhelming because I had like a newborn and like a bunch and two toddlers, so it was like, oh my god. So I need that. That's the thing about like American culture. It's so individualized where it's like you're on your own basically. Even if you got like a partner, I got a really good husband. He's a really good partner, but he
Cool.
had to work all the day, so I was at home with the kids by myself all the day. But it's like back in the day, it'd be like a whole village. You'd have a whole everybody helping out. It wouldn't be just all on
Mhm.
you. So that's why so many like parents, especially mothers, like they go crazy, they go insane because it's like so overwhelming. Because it's like I don't know how to put it. It's like they say like emotional labor. Like it's real. Like that emotional
Would you
labor.
say it's a roller coaster?
Yeah, like the emotional labor of it. Like people dismiss that. Like oh, that's nothing. Like because people are so dismissive of emotions in general. They're like oh fuck your feelings but
What
it's
does that tell
real.
you about human beings?
It's real. Trying to like, yeah, they don't care. Like trying to like manage like children's emotions when they're like screaming crazy, going crazy over every little thing. It's
Right.
hard. Like it's not easy. Like you see parents like in the grocery store and they're like, this kid's throwing a super fit and they're trying to call them. That's emotional labor. Like
Would you
that's
say
the
it's
hard part.
mentally draining?
Oh yeah, it is. Cause
Mhm.
it's hard to manage your own emotions. Most
Right.
adults can't even manage their own emotions. They drink their
Mhm.
emotions away. They do everything. They can't how are you gonna manage a child's
That
emotions? You can't even
only
manage your
numbs the
own.
pain. That only numbs the pain
Hmm.
temporarily. It's
Exactly.
like anesthesia. It's only temporary.
Exactly. So it's like that's the hard part because I don't drink or smoke or do nothing. I don't got no choice but to sit here and be miserable if I'm miserable. You know what I'm saying? I got no choice. I
Hmm.
can't. I
Hmm.
don't got the option to just go get a drink and just drink my pain away. Like I don't have that option at all. Like I can't do that.
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
like I think it's good because you like as a parent, that's the issue because we don't know about like emotional IQ and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we need to have emotional IQ in order to be a good parent. You have to
Mhm.
be know how to handle emotions because your children are gonna have a range of they're not so because they're socialized. Like once they're socialized, it's like especially little boys, they're socialized not to show emotions, right? But as a child, like you're just they're not socialized like that. You're just like your child. You don't know. Like you're gonna scream, cry, throw a fit in the middle of a fucking
Uh-huh.
Target or wherever you are because you don't care. Like you're not really aware. You're so
Mhm.
it's like it's just about that. This is like therapy for me. I'm honest. This is like
Mhm.
therapy for me.
That's cool. That's cool. Hey, a lot of people, with his viewers, with his friends, they say I'm therapeutic. That's
Yeah,
it.
this is like therapy because when you talk to people, I really appreciate you being open, like talk about these type of things
That's
because
cool.
it's something I
That's
struggle
cool.
with. But I'm learning, like as I talk, when you talk, you realize things. But yeah, like that's something that I need to do better with is like emotional IQ and making sure like I can handle my own shit and
Hmm.
so I can handle my kids, so I don't sit here and emotionally because that's like emotional neglect and emotional abuse is like a whole other thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
Or when you're gaslighting and thinking, oh, how you feel is wrong all the time. So it's like,
But just so you know, Magic, just so you know, it is okay to talk to people as long as you trust them, of course, not just
yeah.
anybody. But it's
Mhm.
okay to share how you're feeling. Period. Like
Exactly.
it's okay.
Exactly. And I'm trying to normalize that more because we're so used to just like, oh, I'm fine, I'm okay. But it's like, no, let's really talk about how we really feel. Because like I said, feelings come and go. If you express your feelings, 9 times out of 10, they go away and you're back. You know what I'm saying? But if you
Yeah,
don't have no outlet to
feelings are
express it,
fluid.
yeah,
Feelings are
they're
fluid.
fluid. It's like they
Yeah,
come and
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Like you can be feeling like shit one day and then you talk about it and then you're fine. It's like you just had to let it out. You
Yeah,
just had to talk about it a little bit. And
yeah. Like we're not robots. Like we're
we're
human
not
beings.
fucking
You know?
robots. Exactly. So
No, yeah, it's true. But yeah, never bottle. However you're feeling, never bottle it up. Believe
and
me.
that's a
Last thing you
that's
want.
a yeah, and that's a big reason why I started this platform because I wanted people to like have because I felt like that, as like a biracial person or whatever.
Right.
I felt like I had to bottle up all my fucking feelings because I can't really go to nobody who could like really relate or because you're different. Like you're like open to talk about things, even if you don't really relate to the experience.
Uh
You're
huh.
still opening to listen to them, and I'm kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm the same way. Like even if like I can't relate but most people are narcissistic. If they can't relate to it, or if they don't give a fuck. They're like, I don't really care. Like, it don't
Hmm.
got nothing to do with me, so I don't really care.
Not
So
even
that's
not just that, but they'll be rude and dismissive.
Mhm. Exactly. So that's mostly what I've dealt with. I know a lot of other biracial people deal with that. So I was like, let me start a
Uh-huh.
platform so we could talk about these things and not always be dismissed and not always be shut down because it's like we
Hmm.
all got different issues that we had to talk about it, and it's just
And
we
you
live
know
in a
what?
robot
You sound
society.
like an empath, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely,
It's pretty
definitely.
cool. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, I'm definitely like very empathic.
Embrace
It,
that.
I've learned to stop being a people. I'm still like I feel like I'm still in my people pleaser phase. Like I've been
Uh
working
huh.
on that for
Uh-huh.
years. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Even on this
Yeah.
platform, you see me. I'm trying to like bring everybody together, trying to make everybody happy, trying to like,
Hmm.
oh,
Hmm.
it don't work. You know what I'm saying? Some people are not gonna like you,
You
and
know
that's
what? I
okay.
wouldn't call that in my opinion, I get what you're saying. I personally wouldn't call that people pleasing. I think you're just being you're being a nice, decent human being. But that
Yeah,
I don't think that is really people pleasing. Trying to bring people together. I think what I would consider people pleasing is just trying to make everybody happy. But at the end of the day, you can't make
you
everybody happy.
can't. You
Think
can't.
about it. The truth, which is healthy and good, right? The truth
Yeah,
hurts, and there are people that are unhappy with the truth.
exactly, exactly.
So if people won't even accept the truth, what makes you think they're gonna, be happy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like no matter what you say, there's always gonna be at least one person
Oh,
who's
for
not gonna
real.
like what you say.
And that I swear I'm gonna teach my kids that. Like I'm gonna teach my kids that. Like you're like
Mhm.
because you know how like we always teach kids, oh, just be yourself, and everybody will like you. And like that's not the fucking reality of life. Like people are not gonna like.
Exactly.
Not everybody's gonna like you. You gotta be okay with
That's
that. Like I
true.
wish I was taught that earlier because I'm like, oh, if I just be a nice person, everybody will like me. That's the most. That's the most fake shit like I've ever because that's
It's
all everywhere I go.
disingenuous,
I try to
you
be
know.
nice. I try to like be respectful of everybody, but that doesn't guarantee that everybody's gonna like you. Everyone's gonna fuck with you. Like
Right.
that's not the reality of shit. Like some people are not gonna like you, and I'm still learning that. Like in the workforce, I'm like realizing like, dang, I wish that I could be like in a place where like, oh, everybody gets, but it's not the reality, and that's okay. Like I gotta accept that. Like that's
Yeah.
fine. Like ain't
But
nothing wrong
Magic,
with
understand that just because someone may not like you or is hating on you, that doesn't mean you're a bad person.
it. Thank you, thank you. See, I always see, this is like real therapy because I always like internalize it. I always think that, oh, what
Hmm.
am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? Like I always try to, because I always try to like, I remember always trying to be a chameleon. I know that's like, I think that's kind of a biracial thing too, where we're always trying to fit in and always trying to like
Hmm.
mold ourselves into being something so people will like us and we'll fit in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's something
Always
I,
trying to conform.
yeah.
You're in
Oh,
a society where people are pressuring you to conform to pick one
yeah,
side. It
exactly.
sucks, man. Not
Exactly.
saying I
So,
know what it's like, but I'm just
and
saying,
no
like,
matter
it
how much you
objectively
conform,
sucks.
and it's like fuck it, because it's like no matter how much you try to conform, somebody's
Right.
not gonna like you. There's
Right.
always
It's
somebody that
always at
even if
least
you do,
one person. Where do you think that phrase "haters gonna hate" comes
haters gonna
from?
hate. I mean, it's the real shit. Yeah, it's
Someone can hate
valid.
on you and they have no reason.
No reason, and it's hard for me to like accept that
Mhm.
because I'm not like that at all. But I just gotta realize like sometimes we think that like that's something that a lot of, if you're like a good person, like you think that everybody else is a good person because you're looking at yourself because you're only like going by
Or
your own
maybe you
reference.
want hope, like you have that hope,
Yeah.
like
And
you
you
know.
think that everybody think like you or everybody's gonna feel how you, but it's not true. Like sometimes you gotta realize like some people like some people take their shit out on others or I never like some people bully others, some people do all this other shit, and it's like it's hard for me to understand it. I always be feeling like I'm like autistic a little bit. I don't know. I be feeling like I'm like neurodivergent or something because there's so much like shit that happens. Like you know how like autistic people they have a hard time fitting in society as well because it's like all like the
Mm,
social shit. Like I just don't understand it. Like I just don't be getting a lot of the shit. I'm just like why are you like that? You don't got to be like that. But I
mhm.
don't know. I just
With autism, it's a spectrum.
yeah. I swear
Hmm.
I'm like on the spectrum, like a little bit. I feel like
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
little bit like I just don't get a lot of things why people do the things they do. And I'm just like,
Uh,
you know,
with autistic people, they are different. Like they're not. It's neither bad nor good. It's just different.
it's
You
just
know.
different. And then wrong being different. Like what we were saying earlier, it's like people are incapable of treating people
Oh
good
yeah, yeah. So
despite
I made
different
my
shit,
comment.
right?
Yeah, so I made the
Yeah. So
comment
that
saying people basically use race as the scapegoat for
yeah.
their personal bad behavior, but race is not the issue. The issue is people who are incapable of treating people decently. You
Besides
know, just
different.
because of their different races. That's ridiculous. Like, why should me being of a different race give you the excuse to treat me
Justify
horribly? Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
To justify your horrible behavior. Like that's
Mm,
on you.
isn't that some shit? Exactly. That is a reflection of you. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
in a
100%.
nutshell, racism is the problem, not race
Exactly.
itself.
Exactly.
Hmm. It's like that's the equivalent of saying gender is an issue. No, gender is not an issue. Sexism is an issue.
Sexism is the issue. Exactly.
Yeah, just
Exactly.
don't be sexist. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking sexist. Exactly.
Yeah, but
For real.
I think when you now that I think about it, when you really, really think about what I just said, people are really stupid. Like to just be sexist or racist is stupid and
Exactly.
or ignorant.
100%. It's stupid. It's stupidity. I 100% agree. That's why, yeah, when you think of a racist person, you think of them crunchy, ignorant, dumb people that are just like, they don't know nothing. So they're just
Right.
are racist. So,
But you know what? The thing is, no one, people have no reason to be sexist or racist. People have no reason. What is a valid reason to be racist?
mm, mm,
Exactly.
no, you know why? I know why. Because of people's ego. Because you know how everybody want to feel better than other people? That's
Hmm.
what it
Hmm.
is. They just want to
But it's
feel
not
like
valid.
better.
What you're saying is valid, but I'm saying like
It's not a
for
valid
them,
reason. It's not a
yeah,
valid.
it's not a valid reason.
Yeah.
What, because of ego? Stroke your ego in other ways, not through racism or sexism.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. That's all it's about. Like, learn how to build yourself up, not by putting. I've always said that. I was like, you don't need to put other people down to feel good about yourself. Like, you don't need to do that. There's no reason whatsoever,
Exactly.
absolutely whatsoever. And yeah, it's like the main character syndrome or whatever, where they feel like everything's about them, and if they see other people doing good or somebody else doing something, because people hate, like especially racist people, they hate when they see like a black person doing well, right? They'll feel threatened by it because it's like I'm supposed to be the person, and you're just supposed to be like helping me or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There was
Yeah,
this one.
it's like they have this discomfort
Yeah,
because they see someone who looks like me doing well. It's like,
doing
hang on,
well.
like
Yeah,
something isn't like this isn't right. Hang on.
Yeah, that's there was this one TikTok I seen of this white woman because she was like being real. She was being honest. She was like, "Look, I was in a workforce. I was a teacher, and there was this under teacher that was a black woman. She excelled at everything. Like she was amazing. Like she was better at me than everything. And I felt she was like,
Hang on, hang on. I hate to be
I
that guy,
yeah,
but you knowing Chammeister, okay, was she Morone or was
I
she
don't know.
African?
She didn't. She didn't. She was. Who knows? She was probably like
Okay.
probably Morone, but she, the white lady. She didn't. We didn't see what she looked like or nothing. She was
Oh,
just
okay,
telling the
nonetheless.
story,
Yeah,
right?
that's fine.
So she was saying like she felt so uncomfortable with her being so much, being really well at her job and doing really good. And then she was like, she's like, I had to do some anti-racist work or whatever. And she was like, well, I've always consumed media where like white people are the center, and then like black
Mhm,
women are always like helping the white women. They're always the side
mhm, mhm.
person helping the white women
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
definitely
So
conditioning, and
it's conditioning,
I'm gonna give her the benefit
indoctrination.
of the doubt. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give her the benefit of the doubt that I'm gonna call it ignorance
It's
rather than
ignorance. Yeah.
stupidity.
So it was like she was really made to, because media has it, like you said, like you wanted to take matters into your own hands about media representation. So
Right.
she was like, I've always consumed media, because when you're a white person, white nation, all you do is consume white media.
Mhm.
So she was made to believe that, all these black women, they're just there to serve her, basically. They're just always there to like help. So they're always the side character trying to help the white women. But when they see a white woman doing or a black woman doing better, it's like it's outside of the reality. They're not used,
It was
you know?
odd and new to
Yeah.
them. It was
Yeah, it
new.
was
You know, it's
odd.
not
It was
something
like,
they were
oh, this
used
is
to
not.
seeing.
I'm
Yeah.
not used to this, so it's like I made her feel uncomfortable. Like this is not how things should be. So I was like,
Hmm.
wow, that made me realize, yeah, because media does play a lot
It's
role.
like the equivalent of driving, like, a straight line and then making a sudden turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
It's like you're blindsided. It's like, oh, this is outside of like what I think is normal. Like what I'm saying.
And mind you, in this analogy, the woman is the passenger because
Mm-hmm.
obviously you're not the one driving, so you didn't expect a turn. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly. And it's
Hmm.
like we gotta realize like there's a lot of people like that like only consume white media. That's all they know, and
Uh-huh.
they're so used to being the center and the focus
Hmm.
that if they see like a black person doing well and doing good, and they're like, it's gonna they're gonna feel threatened by it. They're gonna feel like,
Hmm.
oh, this is not what I'm used to. This is not, what's how it's supposed to be. So
Right.
like,
They think that, stereotypes are meant to be set.
yes, but
They're
they're
meant to
not. You
be
could change a
definitive.
stereotype. Like if you could
Yeah.
change it if you really want to. You could change it. My
Right.
mom was like that. My mom, she was like, black people, they got a stereotype of always being late. So she was like, I'm always on time everywhere I go to make sure
Hmm.
she like try to change that
It's
stereotype.
like this is what we're taught, so we have to go. We have to follow that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some people act on stereotypes because that's what we're taught.
That's what we're taught. It's like, oh, that's what it means to be black is to, be loud and ghetto
Hmm.
and ratchet, but it don't
Right.
gotta be like that. It don't gotta be like that. We're in control of how we behave, right? So
Hmm.
we can change shit. This is so therapeutic, like I'm saying, because I'm like,
It's cool.
you can change things. You can if
Yeah.
you really put your mind to it, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
I'll even sometimes I even though I don't put in my title, but sometimes my lives I've been told can be therapeutic. So I might even do
good.
more live streams.
You
You know,
should. You plan on doing any?
so that people can speak their mind. And if they're
Definitely.
going through shit or anything like that, if they just want to talk, they're more than welcome to.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm kind of doing right now. Because I was like, I just feel like, I just wanted to come on here and see if anybody. I appreciate you coming on here and talking to me, or I would have been sitting here by myself. So I really
Absolutely.
appreciate
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
I think that social media can be used for good. It really can be. It can be used for bad, or it can be used for good. You can use it to help uplift and heal people and connect people, or you can use it to divide and destroy and try to harm people, right? So it's
Some
like,
people like to see social media and a lot of things in life as just black and white when they can
uh,
when it can literally be both. It can be biracial. I'm
it
joking,
can be
but yeah,
biracial, right?
yeah, it can be both. Like it can be good and bad.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Definitely,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's,
Like if it wasn't for social media, then I would not have discovered the memes. I love memes.
I love memes, right?
Yeah, yeah. Memes are hilarious. Like when I get back from work, I just go on Facebook and look at memes. Memes
Yeah,
crack me up.
I love them, exactly. I be
Yeah.
dying laughing. People are so funny on social media, I swear. I be
Yeah,
dying
yeah, yeah.
dead as fuck.
No, absolutely. Hey, do you know Steve Harvey?
Yeah, I love Steve. Yeah.
On Family Feud, he is hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
He's funny. He be doing them little like faces and expressions and shit.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember this that one part where this woman, she was one of the contestants, right? And
Hmm.
she kept saying "mommy," and did you see that one? No, if you haven't, have
No,
you? No.
you send it to me.
You gotta watch that one. I'll send that one to you. But
Man, you need to join the Discord. Do you have a
mm,
Discord?
I have Discord,
Oh, you
but
got a
yeah,
Discord?
yeah,
I gotta invite you to my Discord so you can send me.
absolutely,
Definitely.
yeah.
Oh,
I
for
appreciate
sure.
it.
For sure. That'd be great. That'd be fun. But yeah, what time is it
Hmm.
over there in the UK?
Um, 30 is 3:35 in the morning. Just a
Oh,
heads up,
damn.
Magic. Just a heads up.
Mhm.
Like, don't ever feel like don't ever feel a sense of awkwardness if there is any silence. Like,
Mhm.
imagine you're at a lounge. You know,
Mhm.
it's don't feel like, oh, there's silence. I gotta
Gotta
say
feel
something.
it, right?
You know what I mean? Don't feel like that.
I do
It's
feel it. I
perfect.
do be feeling like that. I'm like, oh, I
No,
gotta.
I understand because you're, like there are some people that feel like, oh shit, there's silence. I better go. Like, nah, I'm not like that. Me on my live streams, there could be silence for like 5 minutes. It wouldn't make me feel awkward. I wouldn't feel pressure to say something. It
Oh, that's
happens.
good. That's good because I be feeling like I have to,
Yeah, nah,
humble.
don't worry. Especially with someone like me, nah, you don't have to worry about that. Sometimes I call my best friend. I literally like he answers the phone. I say, "Hey, what's up?" And then we don't say a word. He's just playing. He's just playing his console. Me, I'm just scrolling on Facebook, and then whatever comes to mind, we just say it.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
that in my Discord a lot because I got like a voice chat. Sometimes I'll just be in there hanging out and I'll just be doing my own
There
thing.
you go.
They'll be doing
Like,
nothing, and it's like, yeah,
more people need to have that mindset. You don't have to say something immediately just to cover up the silence. Like, no. Just say what just say something whenever something comes to your mind. But
yeah, I like
you
that.
don't have to force it like in that particular moment.
I like that because yeah, because I always feel like I don't know. I always feel like I have to say it before I forget because I'm so forgetful. And,
Yeah. Or in case the other person, it usually comes from the other person. You sense the other person might leave because of the silence, and it's not necessary. It's not necessary. You
yeah,
just don't have something to say in that moment, and that's perfectly okay and normal.
exactly, exactly.
Absolutely,
I agree with that. You know,
absolutely.
I need to learn because I want to be better at like public speaking. If I want to have this platform, because sometimes
Uh-huh.
I feel like I overtalk people on accident because I'm like just trying to hurry up and say what I got to say before I forget it. Right.
Uh-huh.
So it's like that's something I really want to work on, like public speaking and like being
Uh-huh.
more articulated. Because sometimes I have a hard time expressing what I
To
want.
be fair, and I'm not saying this just to be nice, but to be fair, Magic, I think that's it's a innocent normal thing that's very common amongst people where it's like jump rope. Like, when you got two people on each end of the jump rope and
Mhm.
you're trying to time your jump, like when to
Yes,
jump in. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So
I like that.
going back to the talking, the quote unquote interruptions, I say quote unquote because it's not really on purpose. Is we don't I can't predict when you're going to speak, just like you can't predict when I'm going to speak. Do you
Hmm.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like a purposeful interruption. It's
Hmm.
like you thought the person was finished, so you thought that was the perfect time to speak, but then they just so happened to speak as well.
Hmm.
It's
Exactly.
exactly like
I
that.
like
It's
that
like
about.
that number game. Like number game where I don't know if you played it in school, but basically everyone would close their eyes and the aim is to count to 10. But
Hmm.
you know if you say a number the same time as someone else, then you have to start all over again, so each person has to say a number
Hmm.
whilst your eyes are closed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I've never played that game. That might be some UK stuff. I've never played that game before.
Probably, but it's a
Interesting.
it's a hard game. So like, let's say you got ten people in the room, everyone's eyes are closed, and
Hmm.
the aim is to count to 10. But two people can't say the number at the same time. So it's like
Oh,
someone says one, the other person says two, but we close our eyes to prevent cheating. Do you know what I mean? Like,
wow. I gotta play that. That's interesting. I'm gonna look that
yeah.
up. That's
But if
interesting.
some so if I say two and you say two, like if we both say that simultaneously, we would have to start again.
Wow. That's a cool game. Oh my God. That's
Yeah, but it's very difficult though.
interesting. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna play that game. I'm gonna do it with my kids. Like I bring my kids.
There you go. Yeah, do
Fun.
that with your kids. It would be fun. Yeah.
I'll do that because it's like teaches like that's cool. Oh, wow. Because I don't
Hmm.
know. That's one thing about people in the UK. I feel like they're so like well spoken and articulated. I don't know. I just really like
Yeah.
that about like people in the UK. It's like very, very poetic and very just.
Mm.
I don't know. That's my perspective of the UK. I'm just like one thing about them. They're gonna like speak very adequately and
Hmm.
very smooth and very. I don't know. I really like it. I really like how y'all be speaking. Like it's very. I don't know.
You
You know,
can't find the right word, huh?
no, it's
It's
very
indescribable.
eloquent. It's very just. I just like it a lot.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
hmm So that's good. Y'all got that going for y'all.
Absolutely.
Y'all are gonna make something sound good. You know.
I, no, I do appreciate it. Your accent's fine as well, and I'm not just saying that. There are some accents, that I like. The American accent. Like your American accent. Where is it from?
It's from all over. I lived everywhere. I lived in the South, the North. I've been
You
every.
sound somewhat like you're from the South.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
fine.
I've been in Georgia for 10 years. So a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Georgia. All right. What? Gainesville.
Yeah. 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 That's yes. Yes. I lived
Was
in.
that correct?
No, I lived in Atlanta, but Gainesville.
Ah, crap.
There. Yeah. So I lived in
I'm,
Atlanta.
I'm not gonna lie. I just wanted to say Gainesville. I,
Gainesville.
I just wanted to like because I watch wrestling and there's
Yeah.
this wrestler who's from Gainesville, Georgia, by the name of
Yeah.
AJ Styles. I don't know if you watch wrestling, but that's why I wanted to say
What you
that.
mean, like WWE wrestling?
The WWE,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was raised up on WWE. I loved it. I used to watch
All
it.
right, name a wrestler.
Yes, The Rock, of course.
Of course, of course. Who doesn't
He's
know
my
him?
favorite. Yeah, I liked him. I like Kane. And there was like these guys that were like too short or
Mm.
too cool or something. They used to like do the worm and stuff like that. It was like
Oh,
back
too
in the day.
cool. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. What
So we're
happened to
going
him? He like
old
disappeared.
school.
Yeah, that's like old school,
All
like
right.
growing up as like a kid type of stuff. And then
Uh-huh.
like the of course like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Remember him? He was the
There
OG.
you go. Of
He's the
course, I
OG.
was a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Like I watched the old school stuff as well.
Yeah. Did you ever play the games and stuff? I want to do more gaming on here. Like I love playing like games and stuff like that. Like I'm
Go for it, because whilst you play, you can also like talk on your
talk to
microphone
people.
and talk to
Exactly.
people as well. Yeah, it
Exactly.
keeps
That's
them
what
entertained. Have some like
yeah.
they can have something to watch whilst talking to you as well.
Thank you. That's what I want to
So
do
yeah.
that more. I beat the Hogwarts game. What do you think about
Mm.
that? Like the whole like J.K. Rowling stuff because they was trying to boycott it, and then like
J.K. Rowling.
yeah, like the whole Harry Potter situation. Do you know about that?
I'm not gonna lie. I
You're
don't
like
really
not a
follow
Potterhead.
I don't really follow Harry Potter like that. I've seen maybe one movie when I was a kid, but that was ages ago.
Mm,
But I'm not really a fanatic of Harry Potter. I'm not gonna
no
lie.
way. It was
Yeah.
so good. It was so good. It was really good. Like the little video game they put out or whatever. It was
Uh-huh.
really.
Hogwarts. I've heard of something like that. But
Mm-hmm. It's very
yeah, like
British.
yeah.
Very British. It was
It
very.
turns out not every British person watched this Harry Potter.
No way.
Banter.
I don't believe it. I can't
But
believe that.
and get this, this is gonna shock you, so brace yourself. But
Mhm.
also not every British person has tea and crumpets.
No way. No way.
I've had tea, but I've never had crumpets in my
No.
life. I don't even know what they taste like.
I love tea. I like tea more than coffee, really. I'll take
Oh,
any day.
well, you are same.
Hmm
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of
I'll take
people
tea any day
prefer
as well.
coffee over tea, and I
No.
think I know why.
Why?
Because of the world, the depressing world that we live in.
Big ass world. Big, I need some caffeine. Caffeine
Yeah.
is like super addictive. Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I
not
agree.
right. Like, it's not normal. Like,
It's
no, I'm
not
not
normal.
criticizing the
I
people for doing
agree.
it, but I'm saying like the way the world is, I get why people do it, and it's like existence. This kind of existence is not normal. It shouldn't. No one should
Uh,
have to live like that.
I swear, I think the same thing. 'Cause I think about how like alcoholism is so normalized too. It's not fucking
Yeah,
normal. It's weird.
yeah.
But like with the coffee thing, like I live in Washington. That's where fucking Starbucks is from, right? So there's
Mhm,
just a huge coffee culture out here. Like it's freaking
mhm.
insane. And it's like, it was, but I started drinking so much coffee, I started getting like panic attacks and anxiety attacks because it was like, the caffeine just like made my heart beat all fast. And I was like,
Damn.
what's going on? So I had to stop drinking coffee. I had to stop
Good.
drinking. Yeah, I had to stop drinking it. So now I'm more of a tea.
There you go. It
Mm.
doesn't make you go crazy.
Yeah, because you were like, you're gonna be all because I'm already kind of like high energy, kind of active person. So it's like on top of
Mhm.
the caffeine. Oh my god, I'm gonna be out here looking
It,
crazy.
yeah,
So.
it's like your body's gonna explode. Like it's too much for your body to contain.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Exactly.
it's just the nerves, like just constantly shaking.
Exactly.
So
So
right.
I can't do it. Like you said,
Mhm.
like we gotta be careful what you normalize in life. In your own life too. It's like that's what I'm working on. It's like I feel like I accepted too many things that are not good for me as normal,
Mhm.
and it's like I need to really work on that. I need to make sure that that's not cool. That's not okay. So
Mhm.
yep, yep.
Do you remember what I said about the silence thing? If there's
Oh
silence,
yeah.
don't feel awkward about it. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not gonna be like, oh, there's silence. Well, I got nothing to say. So peace. No, I don't do that. I don't do that.
Okay.
You know,
That's.
I've spoken to my best friend
Hmm.
for like 7 hours. Just for as an example, right? I've spoken to my best friend for 7 hours, but out of those 7 hours, we hardly spoke because we were just doing our own thing. We just wanted to because we could.
I remember
We
you were
we
doing
were just
live.
on the phone. Yeah.
You were doing them long haul live streams.
Yeah, and like Tanzan would be on the live stream, and sometimes a lot of times she would be silent, but that's
Yep.
because she just, I told her, hey, when you're on my live panels, think of it as a lounge. Like you don't have to
I
say
like that. It's a
something.
lounge. I
That's
like
exactly what it
that.
is. Like when you go to your friend's house, let's say, and sometimes you're there and you just chill. Like you're not saying something every 5 seconds because you feel like you have to. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
I've
good.
been to my best friend's house and we were just chilling. Like
That's
we didn't say a
uh,
word. We were just chilling.
I like that because that's like a people pleaser trait. It's like okay,
Mhm.
it is like a weird people pleaser trait. It's like always feeling
Mhm.
like you have to be like super entertaining and have a super great convo 24/7 with
But more
somebody to like
importantly,
you.
like this
It's weird.
expectation of carrying on the
Yeah,
conversation. It's not necessary. You don't have to do that.
I like that
Yeah,
because
that's great. Yeah.
you know what? That makes me feel relaxed.
In fact, let's test it out for two
Okay.
minutes.
All right. Oh,
Like starting now. Boom.
okay. Okay. Let me.
That's fine. Me, I'm just scrolling. Damn, what a shot. Hmm. See, that wasn't so bad, was it?
No, it's actually really relaxing.
Right. I was just scrolling on Facebook. You see, you can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So always remember that so in future live streams, like don't feel like you have to like keep up, with saying something every 5 seconds. Like if
I
there's
like
a
that.
moment where you have nothing to say, that's fine. You just, I don't know, smoke your weed or whatever. I don't know, what is that, essence
Right?
or is that weed? I don't know what that is, but you don't have to say. I'm kind of curious.
Smoke that marijuana.
Marijuana.
weed, that
Is
Mary,
it? Is it? Is it
that
marijuana?
ganja, that marijuana, that weed, that
Is that
ganja,
smoke
that.
in your video? Is that marijuana or
Oh,
is
that
it
was
like?
incense. I lit an
I
incense.
thought so. Incense. Yeah, I called it essence by accident. Sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was incense. I was just trying to.
Oh, okay.
Then I lit some sage, and I want to know like what's like your spiritual life like? Like, are you like I don't think your religion. I don't. You
Mm.
don't read me as like a religion type.
I'll be frank. As of right now, I'm not really religious, but I'm not
Oh,
atheist either. I
that's
only
good.
because I don't identify as either.
That's
Because I don't
interesting.
want anyone to use it
Are you like
against me. I'm just
agnostic?
neither.
You like
No, no. So when I say I'm neither, I'm literally. So if someone asks me, am I any of those things? I say no. I'm not
no?
agnostic. I'm not atheist. I choose to not identify as neither, religious nor atheist nor agnostic. Neither.
Interesting. Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, cause I'm always I kind of like I was on a spiritual journey. I kind of got into like new age stuff, like crystals,
Hmm.
exploring like different because I was like super uber Christian at one point, right? And
Hmm.
I went crazy. I went overboard with it. Like I was like living in fear. I was like, I'm gonna go to hell if I don't go to church.
Right. That's exactly what
Too
religion is
much.
about. It makes
It was
people live
controlling.
in
Yeah.
fear.
I didn't want to live like that. I'm like, you know what? Let me not live like that. So one of my friends, he took me to like this spiritual living church, and it was really nice. It was like, oh, and they were like selling crystals. So I was like, let me get in, let me try this, and it was really nice. It was just learning about like energies and vibration, and your heart chakras, and all this stuff or whatever. And I was like, huh, I think it was really cool when you learn about like energy is everything. Everybody
Yeah,
like
yeah.
has energy within them, and you can like kind of read it and like
Hmm.
it's just interesting. I think that, like spiritual life is like very important. But sometimes,
Hmm.
I fall off and I'm just like only focusing on like the material, but it gets depressing, right? So it's like
Hmm.
it's so
Hmm.
depressing just only
Yeah.
focusing on like the world and society and just hustling, making money. And that's why a lot of people use like spirituality to like escape, you know what I'm saying? To try to as like an escapism thing. So it's like I don't want to try to escape my that's
Hmm.
the big issue though. Like people use
Hmm.
anything as escapism, like social
Tells
media.
you the way the world is, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
people, there's a reason people are smoking themselves to death and drinking themselves to
yeah,
death. They're doing it because they don't want to be in this world anymore. So that's why they're doing it. Like they're taking themselves out themselves. They're taking matters into their own hands by smoking and
yeah.
drinking, and because they want to slowly off themselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I'm starting to question a lot of things that I was taught in like the spiritual, like new age, like manifestation and you control your reality and stuff like that. But I'm realizing a lot of it was like BS because it's like there's a lot of things in your reality that you're not in control of. Like at the end of the day. Like at the end of the
Hmm.
day, you can't control what the other driver's doing if he's drunk and you
Hmm.
never know. Like it's like that's why so many people cling to like religion because it's like I do that too. I'm always like praying, like, oh God, help me. Because it's like, you never know. Like, you could walk out today and somebody could run you over. You never know what could happen. So it's like a sense of
Hmm.
safety in that, I guess. So it's like,
Hmm.
yeah. So it's like, I do believe in God for like a sense of safety that it's like, please, like, you know, just protect me
Hmm.
from this fucked up, crazy world we live in. Right. So,
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the world has always been crazy for God knows how many years. So, imagine like you got this, you know, this indoctrination, and I call it indoctrination because, I think, no offense, but religion is a waste of time, and it's man-made. It's a way to control people, and that's why there's so many people who are religious who live in fear. Whereas you got someone like me who isn't religious, who doesn't live in fear. Which one
I
sounds
want
like
to
a
live
better
here.
deal?
I don't want to live here. Mm-mm.
Would
And
you rather be religious and live in fear, or
I don't know.
not be religious and not live in fear? Which one would you rather?
I'd
In
rather
a
be religious
hypothetically,
and not live in fear. I just don't want to live in fear. If I have to use
there you
religion
go,
to not live in fear, I'd rather do that.
there you go. And
Yeah.
also, let me ask you: you see me, the key, you know what I like about myself, not in a narcissistic way, but I like that. I love logic. I'm a logical thinker, and so I prioritize. I put logic on a pedestal above religion and anything else, because religion is illogical. Let me ask you a question, Magic. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How do humans know where we're going after death if they've never experienced death?
We don't even know. We could only guess. And you could choose
Right.
to fear it or you could choose not to fear it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna happen regardless, no matter what happens. So
How
it's
how
like,
how does listen, all these imams and pastors, guess what? They're just humans like everyone else. They don't know where we're going
we
after
don't know.
death.
We don't know. We have
Yeah.
no idea. And
The only difference between them and us is the position they're in. It's like a celebrity versus a non-celebrity. They're human beings just like us, just one's more known.
And I noticed that about like the spiritual community. It's like
Uh,
there's so many different versions of, because like
uh,
the spiritual is the unseen, right? And
mhm.
everybody, like, there's a million different versions of what people will tell you what the afterlife is like, right? Some people, like, there's Christians that be like, oh, I went to hell, and other people like, I went to heaven, and this person, oh, and nothing happens, and this person. So it's like, what?
Right.
It's like you really choose what you're gonna believe, whatever just makes you feel good, right? What you just choose to believe what makes you feel good at the end of
And
the day.
if hell was an actual real thing, first of all, okay, I'm gonna say two things. Number one, in my opinion, we are already in hell.
Thank y'all. I knew you were gonna say that. I was like, we were already there.
Exactly. We are already in hell. Earth is hell. That's the hell. If people want to talk about, oh, you're going to hell, I'm like, already there, buddy.
I mean,
And number two, oh crap. I was going to say something. Number two, I need. Do you ever do that thing where you
I always
retrace
do
your
that.
steps?
Yeah,
Okay, what were we saying before?
we were
So I
saying
can.
about how there's so many people that talk about all these different versions of what happens when they die.
Oh yes, thank you. It's always I love retracing my steps because now I remember what I was gonna say. So if hell was actually true, then that means that uh, a particular group of people, only one religion would prevail in terms of going to heaven, whereas the rest of the religions, like the people who are part of other religions, they would go to
Yes.
hell.
It doesn't make sense to me because I like logic too. I'm very logical, like 1 + 1 = 2. But there's so much shit that don't make sense to me that people
Hmm.
just accept. You know what I'm saying? It's like we live in a very illogical world.
Yeah,
Trying to make logic of it will like drive you crazy because it's like what you just
absolutely.
said, how people believe like, oh, there's only one religion and this religion, and everybody fighting
Hmm.
over these different religions because they believe they're the right one. That shit makes no sense to me. Like, where's the logic in that? Like, there's
People are
no
literally
logic.
offing each other because of religion. Religion causes so much chaos and destruction. I'm just cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It does, and it's like that's why people choose to believe what makes them feel good versus what's logical, you know?
Can I tell you something though? I will say this. I don't mind if someone wants to believe in something just for the sake, like for example, believing in God just to make themselves feel good or doing prayer, as long as they don't let it negatively impact them. For example, living in fear. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, hold on. Say it again. What'd you say?
I said, for me, my, here's one thing about me. When it comes to, you know, what did I say? Oh, right. So let's say, for example, someone believes in X, Y, and Z just to make themselves feel good. I
Mm,
don't have an issue with that as long as they're not letting it negatively impact themselves.
exactly.
For
I agree.
example, living in fear, that's where the negative impact comes. That's where it becomes a problem.
Yes. I agree with that. I
So,
totally agree with that.
yeah, like I don't believe in prayer, but if someone wants to pray because of the good feeling, then
Mhm.
fine. Just don't
Exactly.
let it negatively impact you. That's all.
Exactly. Or don't let it negatively impact other people.
That too.
Mhm. Cuz
Hmm.
that people take humans just have a tendency of just taking things and always going crazy extreme with it, right? Like there's no
Yeah, yeah.
middle ground. Like as much as we try to find like others about, it's like it's humans are very 99. We're not capable of that.
Humans are always finding a way to harass people.
Yeah,
It's crazy, man.
real shit. And
It,
always
it's because they're bored.
the
They're so bored.
board.
Yeah, that's why they're like, I'm bored. Let me just do something
Let me
to
just
harass
go
people so I can get
start
on
a
the
war.
news.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
and
love
they
to be
see
on
it.
the news.
I mean, look at this. You've seen that on YouTube. People are just bored, so they just start drama for fun, right?
Yeah, so that they can be news famous.
Yeah, so they could get attention, so they could, feel like, oh, self-important or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
All
that's
in the
what
name
people
of
do,
attention.
all in the name of attention. And it's like that's something I don't really understand. Like people like needing
Mm.
so much attention because I'm like, I don't like attention like that. I don't know. I don't know. There's something weird about me that I really don't like too
Because
much
it's
attention.
desperate.
it's desperate. Like, look, well, there's one person viewing this, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, I'd rather have one
Mhm.
person than like a million people watching this right now because it's like
Right.
I don't need that much attention. Like that, all that attention, it kind of like scares me because it's like I don't know who's watching.
Not
It's
only that, but like, when too many people know you, like, unfortunately, what comes to mind is the whole trust thing. Like, being famous, you can't really trust.
I don't
The,
like that.
you can't really trust many people. Whereas when it goes back to the whole famous thing. Like, if you're famous, your life's gonna be a living hell because there are too many people that know you, that know this and that about you. Versus when you have a small channel like mine, not many people know about you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and there's this thing
There's
that
less pressure, like, to just be
yeah, there's less
yourself.
pressure. And there's this thing
Mhm.
that this guy I related to so much. He's like, when I die, I just hope everybody forget that I existed. I'm just like, I kind of relate to that. Like, just
Yeah.
forget that I was here. Like, it don't even matter.
Hmm.
Like, out of all the billions and millions and trillions of people, like in all of history, we only remember like 5 or 10 of them. Like, out of billions of people, like all the other people just got completely forgot about. We don't know nothing about their life. We don't know
Hmm.
their name. We don't know nothing about them. So it's like,
Hmm.
I don't mind. I don't
Yeah,
mind. Like,
honestly, when you're dead, or any of us are dead, like, we're not gonna worry about that
I don't even
stuff. We won't
care.
be able to, like, because we won't be
Yeah,
conscious.
exactly. Like I'll be
Yeah,
gone. It's fine. Like, I live my life here and I don't really need to be remembered. I don't really care like that. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Like it's
What are
okay.
your thoughts on funerals, if you don't mind me asking?
I only been to one in my whole life.
Uh-huh.
So
All right.
I
Mm.
believe that I like how like, in like American like, Southern culture, it's like people celebrate life. There's like a celebration of life. And I kind of like that more, like celebrating
Mhm.
somebody's life and like, I like that. But not
Mhm.
everybody's worth celebrating at the end of the day. Some people made horrible decisions. So you can't really celebrate every goddamn body. Sometimes it's like,
That's true. That's true. That reminds me. Do you remember Tori Bowie? And there's a reason I bring her up. Do you know
no,
Tori
I don't
Bowie?
know who that is. Mm-mm. Who's that?
I think it's Tori Bowie. Bowie. But she was an African sprinter, like African American sprinter.
Oh, okay.
She
Yeah.
died recently, but his
I think I know you're talking
wait,
about. Yeah.
here's the twist though. Here's the twist. And let me explain. I wasn't sad. And let me explain why. Because some people
Hmm.
are like, oh, what? You're not sad? Let me explain. Let me give you. This is where the context comes into play. So, one thing about me is, the way I am, I never get sad
I
when
relate to that.
someone dies.
Why do
I,
I
I
relate?
never get sad. Wait, hear me out. So, I never get sad. And the reason I don't get sad is because uh, instead, I'm happy for them because they can rest in peace.
Exactly.
That's just me. I'm like, so instead of me being sad, I'm not judging anyone for being sad, but because I understand it's like, you could have a close friend that died, and it's like they're gone so early, and you're gonna miss them. I understand that. But for me, when someone dies, I don't get sad. I'm actually pleased for them that they don't have to suffer in this horrible world anymore. They're like, my
Mm,
my mindset is like, you may rest in absolute peace now.
hmm.
You don't have to suffer in this world anymore.
Wow.
That's my mindset when someone
Wow.
dies.
I honestly relate to that a lot because ever since I was a child, I hear about people dying. Of course, I've like cried over like some deaths and stuff before. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, because they were doing good things in the world or whatever. And it's like a loss for us because it's like, wow, we
Hmm.
lost a good person. So I feel like a loss for the world because it always feel like, like the good die
I
young,
think
right?
that's some. I think there's somewhat. No, no, I'm not even gonna say somewhat. I'm just gonna go full throttle. I think there's some conditioning in that as well. Like, we're
Hmm.
conditioned to, like, pretend. Not saying you pretended, but like in some cases we have to pretend to be sad when someone dies,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that is not necessary.
I really relate to that because I'm like, look, we all
Hmm.
die. It's natural. It's part of life. It's part of
Yeah,
everything. So it's like, why do
especially
we
when
talk
people
about it?
are 90 years
They're
old.
older
I'm
than
like,
us.
I
It's like,
expect that.
it's fine. Yeah. It's like, you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
That's just, it's okay. I've always felt like that since a child because I remember one time, like, my mom told me, oh, your grandma died. And I was like, okay. Like, I was like, okay, so that's fine. Like, that's part
Hmm.
of life. I've always
Yep.
felt death is just natural. Like, why should we sit here and like demonize it?
Right. Why
Be like,
would I be
oh,
something? Why would I be sad? About something that's inevitable and
it's
okay.
inevitable.
Like, at the end of the day, like, Betty White is a
Exactly.
perfect example. Betty White died at what,
She died.
95,
Yeah,
and
I
and you know what? I all I said was, rest in peace, Betty
rest
White.
in
That's what I
peace.
said. I wasn't sad.
Exactly. Exactly. She lived a full life. Like,
Right. I
That's
said
good.
it in a smiley type of way, like, yo, rest in peace. Like,
Exactly.
you lived a healthy life. Now you can rest in peace. I was like, oh, rest in peace. Like, again, I'm not mocking people. I'm just saying, like, because there's no reason to be sad. Like,
There's
when there's no reason to be sad when death is inevitable.
exactly. In some cultures, they believe in reincarnation or they believe in all these different things. I think you should believe what, like makes you feel good at the end of the day. But
I hope that's not real. Like, if it was real, then
have
I'd
you
be in
seen all those?
trouble.
I've seen all these TikToks of like babies and they're like mad. They're looking all mad because they're like, damn, I'm in this bitch again.
Oh
I'm up
boy.
here
Like,
again.
can I ask you something? Would you rather, just hypothetically, would you rather be poor and mortal or rich and
Poor and mortal.
immortal?
Man, poor and mortal at the end of the day.
Exactly,
Yeah, this
exactly.
bitch
I'm the
quick.
same.
Let me add this because you know what? This is dark because I've been like suicidal before, right? And
When you say dark, are you talking Chammeister dark?
not you,
No,
I
I'm
mean,
joking.
like
I'm joking.
morbid. Like this is kind of morbid, but
I was trying to be funny, but no, no. Go on, go on. Sorry.
so it was like I've been suicidal before, right? But the only thing that
Uh-huh.
prevented me from doing it, I was like, I don't want to
Same.
reincarnate here. I don't want to be back and have to start all over again. So let me just
Mhm.
finish strong. Like let me like if I can just get through it, maybe I don't have to come back. So that's what kept me
Mhm,
here. I was like,
mhm.
let me just see it through, so I don't gotta restart like a video game. It's like video game level. Like you gotta restart all where
Wait,
you
could
back.
you repeat that one more time? I'm so sorry. Could you repeat that one more time?
I said I didn't want to like restart. Like when you're playing a video game, you just want to get through the level and you keep getting mad that you got to restart it over and over. So
Oh, like
I do that.
respawn,
Yeah, I don't want to respawn.
like Call
Basically,
of Duty. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to respawn.
That would make me go mental.
I
Like,
know. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
I hope that's not the case. Like that would be some shit. That would be some. We
There you
don't
go.
know though. Like that would be cruel and unusual. I'm like, I don't know about that, but
Yeah,
but.
I would want to rest in peace,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just continuing life forever. No, that's a scary. I think that would be hell.
Yeah, for real. But I'm really.
Maybe
Oh, go
go
ahead.
on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe I'm not saying this is the only reason, but this is one of the reasons why people smoke and drink themselves to death because they don't want maybe they do that as a strategic move, as a tactic, so that they don't have to live for very long. So they don't
Yeah,
have
exactly.
to, because if they choose to live healthy lives, it's like, yo, I don't want to live at 90. Do
Long
you know what I mean?
time.
So
Yeah,
maybe it's a strategic move.
exactly. And it's kind of like comforting because it's like when you fear, I've always said this, when you fear death, you fear life because you're not going to want to do anything because you're always going to be like, oh, well, if I go here, if I do this, I might.
Hmm.
So it's like you can't really fear it because why choose to fear something that's inevitable?
Well,
Like,
maybe people don't really fear death, but rather, they fear the
after,
potential pain of
like,
death.
exactly. I agree. Or like,
Because when you're dead, like, that's it. Like, you're not gonna be conscious. You're
I think
gonna be fully paralyzed.
for real.
Fully paralyzed. You know what I mean?
I think that's the cruelest thing that, half of the world believes that if they don't
Mm.
behave a certain way, then that why do we need that fear of like people use fear of hell to encourage morality, right? Like but it's
Mhm.
sad that we need that. Oh, you're going to be internally tortured, so you better be a good person. Like there's something about my kids. I did not want them to weaponize that against them, like you have to be good or you're gonna, because that is so traumatizing. You know how much like religious trauma I dealt with, like, oh, like always
Mhm.
being super fearful of like dying and going to
Mhm.
hell, like that shit is like another level
Can I
because
tell you something? I'm gonna be 100% brutally honest. I mentioned this to one of my friends. Her name is Kay. I said to her, because she's religious, I said to her, the fact that we need religion, in order for people to be moral and good, the fact that we have to ingrain it in people's heads that, oh, if you behave like this, you're going to hell, like all that stuff, it really shows, that
humans are
it really shows the nature. It really shows you the nature of human beings. Where if it
real.
wasn't for any of that, the religion and all that,
I agree.
then there would be chaos.
I agree. Cause I believe, okay, so I was like raised Christian. I believe
Right.
with like the simple like morals of Christianity. There's like a
Hmm.
million different interpretations of what the Bible say, and there's a million different sets of like Christianity that they all believe that they're right. But it's like when it boils down to it, it's just like treat people how you want to be treated, right? Like
Mhm.
simple as that. Like it's simple. Like that's like I try to live by that. Like just the simple. Try to don't do things to other people you want to be done to yourself. Like it's that's what I practice. Like that's like my spiritual practice.
No,
And
absolutely,
I'm
the
gonna keep it
golden
at that,
rule.
you know. And it's
Yeah.
like if that's not good enough and I go to hell, I'm oh well,
And I'd
like damn.
say
If
that
that's not good
if
enough,
you
then damn, okay. But that's how I try
then
to
it proves the point that so-called God is not merciful and good, because why would, so-called God create, suffering and whatnot? Because, these religious people say he created everything, right?
live. Mm-hmm.
So that means he created suffering. I'm
Exactly.
saying this hypothetically because I don't really believe, I
Mm-hmm.
believe there's a creator. I mean, okay, if I- let me put it like this. I do believe in a creator. Like something must have created this world. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and if that creator is called God, then yes, I believe in God.
Mm. So, I was watching this TikTok because I was in the pro black space for a long time, and it was like, or pro Moroni, or whatever, right? So it was,
Don't worry, you get used to it. You get used to
yeah,
it.
pro Moroni, but they were like very anti like Christian because it's like, oh, that's the colonizer religion. That white man brought us. We ain't even believe in no white
Wait,
Jesus.
wait, let me just quickly stop you. I just wanna just to help you out. It's Marone.
Moroni, okay,
Yeah,
Moroni.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm saying it
Marone.
right. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you're saying it
pro
right.
Moroni, um spaces, but they were like very like, oh no, white Jesus, we got to get back to our African roots and stuff like that. And but then I seen something that was like, oh no, it was actually African people had a lot to do with spreading Christianity as well. It didn't start with like Europeans, I guess. So I don't know, I was like, that kind of changed my mindset.
Huh? Wait, say
Yeah,
that
that's
one
what
more time.
they were claiming because it was like they were claiming that it was like, no, like people think that, oh, it's the white man that brought religion and Christianity to Africa, but they were saying no, it was actually Africans had a lot to do. Like there was a lot of chapters in the Bible that were written by African people, and I was
Let
like,
me
that's
ask you a question.
thing
Have you seen any actual African say any of this
about
stuff?
Jesus, and it wasn't an actual. It was an Afro Moroni,
No,
definitely.
no, but no, but I asked that. I asked that on purpose. Like,
No,
like it was rhetorical. I'm like, so
no,
you've picked this up from Marones. Have you seen someone who looks like me say this?
a true like African that is like saying that no. Do you
Have you seen Akon say stuff like this?
no,
No. It's
no,
always the Will Smiths and Michael B. Jordans, isn't
for
it?
sure. No, I haven't. So yeah,
Are
definitely.
you noticing gradually like how different Afro Marones and Africans are in so
Yeah,
many ways? Like
exactly.
in the way, and even in the stuff that we say, it's
Hmm.
like you notice this group of people say this more than this other group of people. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So they're trying to I guess push back against that narrative that, oh, African or not, but Christianity came from the colonizers and it's the white devil and the white Jesus that pushed this religion on us to control
They're
us.
the same people. Magic. Here's another question.
Hmm.
Have you noticed that the Afro Marones are the main ones? You let me know if this is your
I
observation.
think
Have you
that,
noticed? Wait.
yeah,
Have you noticed that they're the main ones who claim that they're anything other than like of African origin? Like they'll say they're Hebrew Israelites, or they'll say they're Native Americans. Have you noticed that?
no, yeah, yeah, definitely. I
Have
think
you ever
that
seen someone who looks like me say that?
no, because it's like people. I did a live stream about this a while ago. It's like people in America in general have identity issues. It's not just like people think that pin that on biracial people, but it's like white people, they got identity issues. Afro Moroni's definitely got identity issues,
Uh
and
huh.
people just don't want to accept what they are. They just always want to be something else that they're not, instead of just accepting, look, we
Well,
are, this is what we
yeah.
are, this is where we live, this is our culture. It's like people just don't want to accept who we are, where we are, what we are. So that's a creating, like I posted that, did you see that meme I posted a meme on my community tab. It's like, when you say I identify as, that's basically saying I pretend to be,
Yeah, I saw
you
that one.
know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
definitely, I agree with that because it's like
Hmm.
everybody's trying to identify as something that they're not, instead of just embracing what they are. Because you don't
And
have
this
to,
is why I don't live in the United States.
yeah,
Like, why
because
would I?
I don't say, oh, I identify as a woman. Like I never say that because that's just what I am. I never have to say
It's
identify.
redundant.
No, it's redundant. I don't identify as like this or that. I
It's
don't
like saying dark
identify.
skin black. It's
Yeah,
redundant.
it's like saying I don't identify as a 29-year-old because I'm 29. Like, I don't have to say I identify as that because that's
Hey,
just what I am.
magic.
Like,
Hey, magic. I'm a vegan. Wait for it.
yeah,
I'm a vegan who doesn't eat meat.
Yeah, you're a vegan who doesn't eat meat. Yeah,
It's redundant, isn't it?
don't have to say that. Yeah, because it's already it's weird. I don't know. I just
Yeah,
think
what
that
vegan eats meat? Exactly. So there's no need to say I'm a vegan who doesn't eat meat. Like, just say you're a vegan.
exactly, and it goes back to like people trying to escape shit. They're trying to escape. They don't like who they are, and they're trying to just escape reality. And
Hmm.
so they're trying to pretend to be this and that and this and that and the fourth. And I'm a Native American one day, and then I'm a Hebrew the next day, and then I'm Egyptian the next day, and
Hmm.
it's like ridiculous. And then I'm
Hmm.
black the next day, but it's not. That's not so not what you are.
Yeah, I feel sorry for people in America.
Man, it's
You know,
rough. It's rough out here, man. It's rough
you need
out
to
here.
move.
I know.
Magic, you
I
need to move.
swear. I was looking at this TikTok that was like, oh, some countries they'll pay you to move there because they have like a declining population. I'm like, let me. I might because I might.
I mean, it's up to you, but I would strongly recommend, like, like for example, have you ever called the ambulance in your life before?
Yes, they don't do
How
shit.
much did you have to pay? Not, you can say prefer not to say. How much did you have
Oh,
to pay?
I had like state insurance, thank God, because I'm like lower income, so it's like they gave me but when I was in Atlanta in Georgia, they don't do none of that. Like they don't give you like state insurance or nothing like that. So it's like
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
never call an ambulance ever for nothing because that's like $1,000 bill that I can't afford. But I did get an emergency surgery one time because my appendix burst and I had to go to the hospital, and it was like eighteen thousand
Appendix, sorry
dollars.
for my ignorance. What's the appendix? I've heard of it.
It's like a part of your body. I don't know. It's like a random part of your body that like random
Random.
burst. I don't know.
Wait, do
Yeah.
you is it private? Is it, if it's a
No,
private
it's
area, you
not.
don't have to say.
It's like a I don't know. It's part of like your intestines or something like that. Something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it burst, right? It's very common though. It's like a common thing that
Was it
like
like internal bleeding?
yeah. So it's like so you could die from it, right? Because it's like your appendix burst and all like those toxins like go throughout your system and then you could die.
Wow.
So I was in emergency surgery. I got that removed, and then it was like
Mhm.
$18,000 or something like that. But I was broke
What?
18,000.
So 5 figures.
Yeah. So it was like
Wow.
$18,000. I didn't have no money. I didn't have nothing. But guess
I'm s-
what? Yeah. Guess what? Like a couple years later, because I was like, because it gets on your credit score, like it lowers your credit score. So if you don't have good credit, you're not gonna be able to get an apartment. You're not gonna be
So are
able
you telling me, hold on. So you're telling me, wait, what lowers your credit? Like not having the
having
18,000?
medical bills. If you have unpaid medical bills, it'll be on your credit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yo, this is the
I
world we
hate
live in.
America. I hate it. I hate it. I hate that.
Not even just America, just the world in general. The
That's
world is a
crazy.
messed up place, like putting people
Yes.
in debt and all. It's not
Man,
it's
I'm
not
telling
worth living.
I'm so paranoid of debt. Like I have no debt, thank God, because I'm like I don't want to like have to pass them bullshit on to my kid or nothing like that because it's like I
Mhm.
don't want to have to do that. But come
Right.
to find out, they have like a random like organization paid my bills all of a sudden. So
Can I
it's like people are like randomly starting like foundations so people could pay their bills because people can't pay them on their own. Like thank God, like if I had like health issues or anything, I would probably just die because I can't
mhm.
afford none of that. Like I don't see how people like all these like if you get but that's the thing about it, like there's no ethics because people profit off of if you get cancer, that's a lot of money that the hospital's going to be making off your ass, so it's
Can I
like
tell you something?
hmm yeah, of course.
In the UK, I've called the ambulance.
hmm
Disclaimer, obviously not to prank call or anything like that. None of that. Like, I genuinely had a good reason to call the ambulance.
hmm
I've called the ambulance for myself on 3 separate occasions.
hmm
And guess how much I paid.
I can't even imagine how much you pay.
How much guess?
I don't know, like
No, no,
100
you can guess. Let's have
pounds,
fun with this. Let's have fun with this. Have a
500
guess.
pounds, 500 pounds or euros, or which I'll go by pounds or
No,
euros.
no, we go by pounds. No,
Pounds,
it's not
yeah.
500.
So I'm gonna
It's
say
not 500.
500 pounds, 700 pounds,
No,
800,
no. Let me know when you give up.
400, 300. I'm gonna say, is it lower than 500?
I'll let you guess. I won't say, but
I
I'll
don't
let you
know.
guess.
Okay, go ahead and tell me. I don't know.
Okay, you give up.
Yeah, I give up.
Free.
No way. Why is it? That
FREE.
makes too much sense. That's crazy.
Because you're
It,
living in America, that's why.
I live in America. It's $1,000. It's probably more now because of inflation. It's probably $2,000 at this point. So we got
If a British person went to the United States,
man, they
they'll be
man.
like, they'll be like, You guys pay for an ambulance?
Yeah, because that's like, in Afro Moroni culture, it's like you never caught an like it was like a running joke. I remember Cat Williams did a joke about it. He's like,
Mm,
something's really wrong if you go to the hospital because we don't go to the hospital for nothing because, and that's sad, right? That's sad that
mm.
we can't even get services or help because nobody can
But I
afford.
think the main reason that they don't want to go to the hospital is probably because of trust. It's like
Oh
not wanting
yeah,
to
that's
take the vaccine, for
no.
example.
Man, no, I don't trust them at all. I don't we
I'm
don't
the
trust
same.
them. Because look, because I went to the emergency room. Guess what? I was after I gave birth to my daughter, because in Georgia, like there's a high rate of like Afro black women, they die. There's a the highest rate in the country is in Georgia for maternal deaths, right? Because they don't care. They don't take care of the women, right? So
Mm,
even some third world countries. Oh, hey, Tonal Breaker, good to see you. If you could come up, because I always love hearing your perspective on things too. Even some third world country.
mm,
Man, we live in a third world country with a Gucci belt. That's what they call America. It's a third world country pretending not to be, basically. So, but
mm, mm.
but I went to the emergency room after I gave birth to my daughter, and all they did was like pat me on my stomach and was like, "Okay, you're good." That's all they did.
Wow.
Do anything like they're not really, because I always felt like that because I always watch like
Wait, so you
medical
gave
shows.
birth to your daughter and then they just patted you?
Yeah, because I went home and then I felt like something was wrong. Like I was like feeling dizzy and lightheaded and I was scared. So I went to the hospital and like they all they did was like check my hemoglobin and then like pat me on my stomach and was like, "Oh, you're fine, you're good."
They took your what? Hebo woman? What?
My hemoglobin, that's like your blood, like seeing if you're bleeding out or something like
Wait,
that.
wait. Say that one more time.
Your hemoglobin, like that's
Hemoglobin.
something like that.
Is
Yeah,
that German or something?
hemoglobin. That's when your blood. I think they check like your white blood cells or something like that. It's like blood work.
Okay, hemoglobin. Oh,
Hemoglobin.
okay.
Yeah, I think
I've
yeah,
never, I've never heard that term in my life, but
yeah.
you
It's like
learn
a
something
medical
new every
term.
day.
It's like a medical term. So
Okay, hemoglobin. Okay,
they check
that's
that
cool.
and that's it. Like they didn't do shit.
Can
So
I
yeah.
can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, if your kids grew up and they became antinatalists,
I
what
wouldn't be.
would your reaction be?
I wouldn't be mad. I'd be like,
Okay,
you know what?
you wouldn't be mad. All right, that's
No,
in my
I
opinion. That's
wouldn't be
good that you
mad.
wouldn't
I'd
be
be like,
mad.
okay,
You'd
I would
you'd
support
you'd
their
you'd
decision.
get it. You'd get it.
I would get it. I would totally understand it. I
Hmm.
would totally, because based off my experiences, I was like, you know what, I wouldn't want y'all to suffer. Like you said, I wouldn't want y'all to
Hmm.
suffer. You know what? I don't want
Hmm.
nobody to suffer.
Yeah, and that's literally the intention. Like antinatalism is with a good intention. It's about like is antinatalism is anti-suffering.
I think you could do both, right? Because I'm like, I support people who have children that are here
Hmm.
already. You can't like, they're here, so I support them, like having
Hmm.
trying to,
Can I make something clear? It's not about shaming parents for having children. I want
oh,
to make that
that's good. Yeah.
extremely clear. It's not about that. That's why I mentioned the whole past versus present. This is about preventing. It's not about like saying, "Oh, how could you have had parents?" No, it's about let's prevent it.
You know
Like
what?
obviously, when it's not about forcing. There's a difference between encouraging versus forcing.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
What's
Do
your
you know what I'm
opinion
saying?
about like, because a lot of people think, oh, if you're low income, you shouldn't be able to have kids, right? And it's kind of like I understand it because it's like there's so much better. They're gonna have a way better life, of course, if you got money, right? So it's like I do feel guilty about that a lot because I'm like, dang, I
Uh
wish
huh.
that I would have waited until I was. But it's so fucked up for women, right? Because when we're younger, that's when we're like supposed to have kids biologically
Uh
by
huh.
nature, right? But we don't got no money when you're younger unless
Like
you
you're supposed to you're taught that you're supposed to have kids during a certain timeline.
for during a certain time period, right? So it's like
Right.
it's fucked up for like us biologically because it's like if you have kids while you're younger, it's easier to have kids because it's like But if you wait till you're older, because I see that a lot of older women they're having struggling to have kids, but they got money, they got all this money to invest in it. So it's like
Hmm.
a struggle because it's like I wish a part of me wishes I would have waited until I got more money, but I
So
know it's not.
basically, the problem, for the issue for women is that they're in a lose-lose situation.
Lose
So they have
lose.
to make a sacrifice.
You gotta
Either,
make a sacrifice either
yeah.
way. Either
So
you
you have
mm,
kids, but that means you sacrifice, the potential
my, my
time that you could have had without kids to enjoy and
exactly
experience traveling, etc., etc.
exactly because
or
yeah, I
or
agree.
you you do enjoy your life, but
Mm-hmm.
then it's too late to have children.
Isn't that sad? Like, it's super sad, you know. And I like, about this whole like red pill situation. Like, so many like,
Right.
people online are like shaming women. Oh, they're just focusing on their career, and their career means nothing. And but it's like such BS, because it's like
It is BS.
it's such
And
BS.
don't you forget it, Magic. That is
Yeah,
BS. Like, like shaming women because they're narcissists. Because, like,
yeah.
you're at the end of the day, if you have children, right, are they gonna take care of those children?
Nope, you are.
They're not gonna take it.
Yeah.
Imagine telling someone else to have children just
Mm-hmm.
for you, like that. That makes no sense.
Just for
If
them.
I'm gonna have children, I'm
Yeah.
obviously I'm not gonna have children because I'm
Mhm.
antenatal. But if I'm going to have children, it wouldn't make sense for me to have children for somebody else. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. That's what we're expected to do, though, because it's like it feel like people try to push like there's only one way to exist as a woman, right? Because it's
Mhm.
crazy. Because even like the other spectrum, how everybody's so extreme. It's like on the other spectrum, like like the whole feminist movement. It's like you have to do it like this, or they shame the other women. But it's like, why is there only one way to like? I've always felt that. I'm like, why can't y'all just let people exist how they want to live? Like, I'm not living their life for them, so it's like I don't know what it's like to
Mhm.
live your life. So you obviously probably know what's best for yourself. So just do.
Because people are so conditioned into continuing the species, and so to the point where they're narcissistically shaming
Other
women
people what to do.
into having children. Like, the fact that you have to shame someone into having children, what does that tell you about having children? Like not
Weird.
everyone
Like,
wants to have it.
why does it have to be a thing out of shame or
And
out of
also,
like
why what
I
is
have
very
to? Yeah,
pointless. It is very
lose
pointless.
lose. It's a
It's very
lose for
pointless.
the
Yeah.
yeah. I agree. It's a lose for women. It's a lose for your kids. It's a lose for everybody, because it's like we should be, if you want to have kids, it should be from a place of joy. Like, I want to do this. I'm ready. I'm ready. It shouldn't be a place of like expectation, or a place from like, oh, I'm gonna be shamed if I don't. Like, it's always that's what happens too much in society. People are making choices out of shame. Like, that's why so many people like strive to be like rich and successful. It's not because they're really happy what they're doing, and they're really like contributing to the world in such a great way. So it's like
Yeah.
they're just doing it because they don't want to feel the shame of being poor, right? Because there's a big shame
Yeah.
that. So
A
a
lot
lot of
of our
people.
decisions, this is the thing that's wrong with this world. A lot of our decisions, especially big decisions such as having children,
Mhm.
is
Out of shame.
we base it, yeah, we make our decisions based on other people. That we
Yes.
need to stop doing now.
And I'm learning, like, I'm always like trying to unlearn so much shit,
Mhm.
because that's what I'm unlearning. I'm like, what it's like we don't really live the life we really want to live, because all of our decisions are based on other people and what they expect from us, right? Because
Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the unlearning process, like really truly doing what you want to do from a place of like, this is what I really want versus this is what I'm expected to do, or this is what if I don't do this, then I'll feel shame about myself, or you know what I'm saying? So
If
it's
that's
like,
the type of world that we live in, where we do stuff based on what other people like, based on other people, then existence is not worth living,
it's not worth
period.
it.
But
Exactly.
also, if you are someone who clearly doesn't want children, and you got people forcing that person who clearly doesn't want children to have children, then that means, okay, no, sorry, let me start again. If someone doesn't want children, where is the logic in forcing that person to have children? That is going to cause problems for the child, because
Hmm.
that parent never wanted children in the first place. Do you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So, how is it ideal? How is it smart? How is it wise to, want someone who clearly doesn't want children to have children? It doesn't make sense.
It don't make no
Why
fuck.
would you want that?
It don't make no fucking sense. Yeah,
Mm,
I agree with you. Because here's my mindset. Like, here's
right.
kind of my mindset about life that I've kind of just accepted. So here, I really do think that life is like, maybe we're just like a simulation at this point. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping.
I honestly, no, I get what you're saying. I honestly don't want to think we are a simulation, because if we are, then we're screwed.
We're freaking screwed. But here's what I think. I'm like, if this is like, like the Avatar, if this is like a simulation, and it's just like we're just jumping in here, and I'd be like, life's supposed to be fun. Like, at least like me, I'm sitting here talking to you for fun. Like, I'm just like, you know what? I'm
Yeah,
just have as much
and
fun.
because you can.
And then people try to make it seem like fun has to be irresponsible. Like, you don't have to be irresponsible to have, because people think of fun as like partying, getting drunk, getting fucked up. But like that's not the only form of fun. Like I think life should be fucking fun. Like let's have some fun. Like I
Mm.
like going on walks for fun. I like talking
Fun
for
is
fun.
simply something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
one
we're supposed to
particular thing.
enjoy life. Like I really truly meant that we're really meant to enjoy life, but this society's built like, oh, you're meant to suffer, you're meant to fucking sit here,
Magic,
be
you
a
know,
slave,
the
so I
problem
can enjoy
with the
life.
term fun is that there's a stereotype on what it means to be fun. There's a
Yeah,
stereotypical way of having fun, which is, for
exactly,
example, going to the beach. But there are there are unlimited ways to have fun.
exactly.
Someone sitting down could see that as fun. That's the thing. Fun is
Love it.
subjective.
Like doing nothing is fun. Sometimes we're just sitting.
Exactly.
Here.
Just
It's
because
a
you're doing nothing, even doing nothing, ironically, is doing something.
yeah, I agree, and it's
Yeah,
like
because you're
we
resting.
yeah, because like you said, it's a stereotypical outlet, and it's like I really do think that because it's funny because you know how we're slaves, right? But it's
Yeah,
for them, like whoever we're slaves to, is for them so they can enjoy their life, so they can have all this money to go on private jets.
those are
You
psychopaths.
know,
The
isn't that
ones
a
who,
psychopath?
yeah, they are psychopaths.
You
Like
have
the
to
ones
suffer and be a work slave, be a wage slave, so I could accumulate all this money and I could just sit back and just not do anything and just
I
have money.
could be in that position, Magic, right? I could be in that position where I have people working under me and they're slaving their lives away. And no matter how much, money I'm making, like, 6, 7 figures, I'd feel like absolute shit for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I
I would
know.
rather not exist.
Yeah, I'm not because I would want to live like win-win. Like if I had a company and everybody's making great money and they're doing great, like they have their freedom and they're enjoying what they're doing and we're helping the world or whatever. I would want that. But how many companies are really like that? Like very very few,
Mm.
probably like none.
Say that one more time.
I said, how many companies are like that, where like all of the employees like they're making livable wages, and that they're happy with what they're doing. They're like they're actually contributing to the world in a certain way, and not just destroying it, helping to destroy it. But
Like, at the end of the day, it's like what Colin Kaepernick said, right? And a lot of people misunderstood what he was saying. Like, because people have this ignorant mindset that because he makes so much money, that as if money is what determines whether you're a wage slave or not. Listen, it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with how much money you're making. You can make millions and still be a slave.
because they could
True
take
or
that
false?
real quick, yeah, money come and money go. Like you could get sued or something, they'll take that money away from you real fast. Like as soon as
Yeah, but also you're a slave because you're being dictated by someone else, like
exactly.
to turn up for training
Hmm.
at this time, 5 days a week. You have to show up at this time, and it's like it could be at your inconvenience, like because you may not want to go at this time. You want to be doing something else at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I understand where Colin Kaepernick is coming from, but a lot of people misunderstood his message. They didn't understand it and say, "Oh, you're making millions." I'm like, it doesn't matter. What's the
Yeah,
point if your feelings are way more important than the amount of money that you're
I
making?
agree.
There's no point in making millions if you're not feeling happy. There's zero point.
It's, exactly. I totally agree with that. You know what? This convo is inspiring me. I've always been like rebel against society type of person. And
Nothing wrong with that.
and the more I've like tried to like be an adult and like grow up and I've tried to like conform to society, but I've always end up miserable. But I'm
There
like,
you go.
what is there any other way? But I'm like, you have to make like radical changes, like because you have to go wait, because this society is very um we're like acclimatized to it. You know how crazy shit is. So we're like acclimatized. So it's like doing things like all the other way, like doing something completely different and radical is like,
Mhm.
but that's actually like more normal. But we're not used to like actual normal. What we're, you know what I'm saying? We're not used to it. We're
Mhm.
acclimatized to like craziness and being miserable and being. So it's like I don't.
Right.
I want to like rebel against society because
Can I say, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I say more power to you. Do what you want. I did it.
that's
Forget
what I want.
about, life is too short. We're all gonna die one day. So don't worry too much about trying to please others. It goes back to the people pleasing, which I understand. Yeah, yeah. Just do what you want. Don't worry about doing what other people want, because it's not worth it. It's a waste
Exactly.
of life.
I agree. I just truly want like freedom. That's what we all. That's why people want
I-
money. It's freedom.
It's nice to want freedom, but unfortunately, the reality is no one is getting
It's
freedom
free. Exactly.
unless you're a psychopath and you
Unless you're
have
a
people
psychopath.
working under you, slaving their lives away.
Yep.
I don't want to be in either position. Let me tell you this, Magic. Let me say this. Disclaimer. sorry, ever since I've been on YouTube, I always have to give disclaimers because people like to dissect
Hmm.
and take shit out of context. Disclaimer: I'm not trying to convert you, but I would like to encourage you to, at the very least, look at not antinatalist videos, like just to understand the philosophy. Do you know what I'm saying?
I will
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, just to understand and just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I would like because I've never heard that term before. An antinatalist.
Hmm.
I've never heard that until today. So
I
I'll
would recommend. I would recommend two channels. No, three channels. I would recommend the. I'll mention this one last. Okay, so the first one is Lawrence Anton.
Lawrence Anton. Okay.
Yeah, Lawrence Anton. He's British. Social experimentalist. He is also British. Coincidentally, he's a pioneer. And last one. No offense. It is the name is called Stop Having Kids.
Stop having kids.
Yeah, check that one out.
I'll check it out. Okay. Yeah, because I definitely support people and I totally understand it. I'm just like I get
Hmm.
it. And I feel it's really hard, because I like I said I
Yeah.
do struggle.
Remember, it's called Stop Having Kids. It's not why did you have kids? No, it's called
Hmm.
Stop. Like you're saying 2023, stop. That's what
Hmm.
you're saying. But
So I
if
would
you
want,
watch it, then you'll understand it more. Anyway.
yeah, because I would want to be one of those people who are just honest about my experiences with kids.
Good.
That's me.
Good. It's good to be honest about your
I would rather be
experiences.
honest and let people really like. I want to, about my. So that's something I would really want to, I don't want to like, because there's good parts about it too, of course, right what I'm
No,
saying.
of
But
course. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think honestly, it feel like right as of right now, it do be feeling like the bad outweigh the good sometime. You know,
Yeah, keep it real.
it
Hey,
feel
listen,
like
you're
that. It
talking to
feel
me,
like that
champ. You're
sometimes because
talking
it's
to
like,
Cham Meister. Let it out.
yeah,
Like, be 110% all out. Go for it.
yeah, it does feel like that sometimes because I'm like, because you know what's crazy? My kids, they realize how fucked up society is, and I'm just like, they're like, my oldest, he's 7, and he knows like society's fucked up, and I'm just like, that's what hits me hard because I'm like, damn, because it's like me as a parent, we're conditioned, we have to sit here and make sure they're suitable for society, and there are because like, how am I gonna do that? I'm not fucking, I don't even fit in society, I don't even fucking, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't successful in society because I'm not like super rich or like that's what we say is successful. So it's like, how am I gonna teach my kids like function in society? And
Hmm.
I'm fucking not functional. Like I'm barely fucking not functional. So I'm like, how is that
Hmm.
gonna work? So that's like that's something that
Hmm.
hit me hard. I'm like, damn.
Hmm.
So
No,
that's
exactly.
mm-hmm. So that's the hard,
That's
you
yeah.
know.
So keeping that in mind, wow, at the age of 7, they're already seeing the way
They already
society
see
is.
it because my son, he's in like a special program, right? Because he's he's like me, he's very rebellious, right?
Hmm.
And he was like, school's a prison, mommy. I'm like, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not
He's
wrong.
not wrong.
He's not
He's
wrong.
not wrong.
He's not wrong. And then the teacher's gotta like chase after him all the time because he's always trying to like, he's like, I'm an escape artist, and I have to like, he tries to run out the classroom because he's like, it reminds me of like Pink Floyd, like another brick in the wall. Like
School is technically like slavery, but for
it
free.
is.
It's literally free work. You're working for
Yeah, and
free
my
for
son,
6 hours.
he's like, they're not teaching me nothing. They're not really, because he's very smart. I taught him how to read at a very young
Hmm.
age. Like he's smart. Like, and then he goes to school. He already sees it because we all said that as an adults. We're all like, well, they didn't really teach us anything. He already is like, they're not teaching me nothing. And I'm just sitting there all day, just not really learning nothing. So what's the point? Like, that's how he is. And it's like,
Some schools like teach some people to become slaves, like
that's
literally.
all it is. That's really all it is. That's really
Hmm.
all it is. You got to just sit.
All in the name of keeping the world
Yeah,
running.
and I didn't do good in school either. Like I was
Hmm.
like I didn't do really good in school because I just didn't. Like I remember like
Hmm.
I don't know, I'm kind of a dropout. I'm embarrassed about it because I'm like, society.
Why?
I don't know why I'm embarrassed about it, but I dropped out because I'm like,
Because
I
people
hate
want you
it.
to
I
be
hate this.
people.
I'm miserable.
People want to make you embarrassed about, make you
Yeah,
feel that way.
but
But why? What's the reason?
I was generally miserable in school. Like I was so unhappy and just I hated it. Like I've always had that pattern. If I'm miserable doing something, I'm not gonna do it. Like, and that's like
But
I'm
if
like
it's
that
not
with
for you,
jobs.
let me tell you something magic, right? And this is why I said what I said. Like, why? I said it on purpose because here's the thing: a lot of people want to shame. Like, so apparently there's some stigma about dropping out. It's like, so what? If it's not for you, drop out.
For
What?
you,
What's the?
right? And I
It's
do,
stupid. There are a lot of stupid things, like such
yeah.
as, like, there's no need to be embarrassed. I'm not gaslighting you. I'm telling you, you don't need to let other people
I don't need
gaslight
to be
you.
embarrassed about it because I do
You don't
want
need
to go
to, man.
back to school. I do want to, and I want to like do something that I actually genuinely like enjoy learning about versus sitting here forcing myself to learn some things that I'm never going to use. It's just making me,
Right.
I
It's
was like
better to drop out than to waste your time for 3 or 4 or 5 years staying there and getting
"That's
absolutely nothing from it.
nothing out of it. Yeah.
So
So
when
it's
you think about when you think of it like that, when you think of it in that way, the way I just said it, there's no embarrassment there. There
exactly.
shouldn't be any embarrassment. Period. I've
I
dropped out before myself. Like,
good.
I went to university and I dropped
Mhm.
out less than a year, and it was the best decision I made.
Good. Good. That's good because
Yeah, so it should show you that this whole I can't believe there's even such there's even a stigma behind dropping out,
there
because
is
there's a reason people drop out. People don't just drop out for the sake of it. There's a reason, because
real.
some people feel like they're wasting their time there, so
They
then
are
you drop out.
exactly. And you know what? I'm a rebel against society because it's like I just don't want people to be miserable. Like you said, I don't want people to be miserable and suffering in their life. So I support
Right.
people making decisions that even if it's like, oh, society standards, they're successful. But if they're fucking miserable, I don't want people to do it. If it's making you miserable and suffer every day,
Uh-huh.
then no, I don't want people to, even if that's dropping out of school, not getting the super high paying job that, your parents expect you to get. And I see a lot of that. I see like I think I honestly I'm an optimist. So I think we are moving in a better direction where it's like we're not gonna force people to do things that makes them miserable, makes them do things that they don't want to do. Right. So because that's
Mhm,
been the norm. Like that's what we're ingrained as a child. You have to do things you don't want to do. You have to do things you don't want to do. Like that's
mhm.
what we're ingrained in since a child, right? But it's
Yeah,
like, what's the point then? What's the point of being here? Like we're just always gonna
exactly.
do
What
things.
kind of existence? What's
What's
the
the
point of that
what's
existence,
the point
being
of this shit
brought
then,
into a
right?
world and doing stuff that you don't want to do, but you have to do, like that? That's pointless. And
Is
you know what the worst thing is? These same people that have been brought into this world and are doing things that that are mandatory, that they don't want to do, they're shamed for feeling like not being interested in it. Like, if
exactly.
they're shamed for it. So, like, you got people, a lot of people don't want to, they're scared to admit it, but a lot of people don't want to work, and it's understandable because that shit is boring. Like, there's no one's interested. We're only doing it for the paycheck, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But here's the reality: the reality is people get like that, get shamed for admitting that, hey, I don't, this, none of this interests me. Work doesn't interest me. They get shamed for that. I'm like,
You're lazy.
that's the reality. Yeah.
You're just a lazy bum that doesn't want to. And it's like, come on now,
It
like,
has nothing to do with laziness. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you the reality. People who don't want to work are not lazy.
nope.
It's got nothing to do with laziness. Like, there's at least one thing in the world you might enjoy, and you'll go full throttle with that. But that's, so it proves that it's nothing to do with laziness. It's to do with time, but also to do with interest.
Yep.
So if I'm not interested in something, it's
Mm-hmm.
not that I'm lazy and that's why I'm not doing it. It's because I'm not interested in it. I
Exactly.
love football. I'm never lazy when it comes to football. But
Exactly.
work, I'm not interested in work. Does it
For
mean I'm
real.
lazy?
No.
Do I
No.
want to do ballet? No. Oh,
No.
why? Because you're lazy? It's stupid. No, it's because
Well, you're not
I'm not saying ballet is stupid. I'm saying it's stupid for people to say that is laziness is the reason why you don't want to work. No, it's because it's
yeah,
uninteresting. If it was interesting, trust me, no one would be lazy.
exactly. It's unlogical to make people feel like they're lazy because they don't want to because they're not interested in doing something, That doesn't even make fucking sense.
People are stupid.
Stupid.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but you see me. There's only so many times. No, there's only so much patience you can have with people. You know what I mean? There's always a breaking point, and that's why I'm saying the term stupid. Like, because a lot of people are so horrible, they will shame someone for not wanting to exist or not wanting to work or whatever, and they never asked to be born. And you're shaming. So someone never asked to be born. They're not interested in life, and you're shaming them for feeling that way. Where is the logic? But again, people are not logical. But something to think about, Magic. Is there any logic in that?
Nope.
Someone
Nope.
didn't ask to be born. They're born, and they see the world for what it is. They're like, nope, I want out. and then you
What
shame them. What?
like, what is shame gonna do? Because
Shame. What is it with people and what is with this horny obsession with shaming?
exactly, I don't get it. I don't
I was
freaking get
trying
it.
to be funny there, but yeah,
I
yeah,
think
no, but
there's, I
people are
think
very funny.
okay, because I've heard people say there's healthy shame and there's toxic
Yeah,
shame.
yeah, no,
So
absolutely.
there's healthy shame, like if you're a fucking murderer or some shit, like hell yeah, you should be shamed because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
absolutely.
But that's a decision you made, right? That was
Yeah,
something that was
yeah,
in your control. But there's toxic shame that if something's out of your control, if you shame somebody for their skin color or for what they look like, their hair or
yeah.
what they're, you know what I'm saying, that's toxic shame.
Hmm.
So it's like you can't fucking change your shit, so why would you shame somebody for something that they can't control? Like you can't control that you're not interested, you can't just make yourself interested in some shit that you're not interested in.
Exactly.
So why would you fucking shame somebody for,
Like I'm not interested in watching
yeah,
paint
so why would
dry.
you shame somebody for that? That's not in your control. You can't just flip a switch and be like, oh yeah, all of a sudden I'm just so into this, because it's like, no, you can't. That's toxic form of shaming because you're not in control of that shit.
Yeah,
So,
it's
you know,
nature. It's a
yeah,
nature thing. Like with interest, you're either
yeah,
interested or you're not.
yeah. It's like, yeah, would I shame you? That's like saying, like, yeah, I'm gonna shame you because you don't like ballerina. Like, come on, some people
Right.
don't like it. Like, why would I shame you because you're just not interested in that? Like, that's
Yeah.
fine. Like,
Or being a
or,
builder. I'm not interested in being a builder. Does that mean I'm lazy? No, it means I'm not
no,
interested.
just not interested in that, and that's fucking
Yeah.
fine. Like, damn, the world's a big
Hmm.
place. Like, let people fucking exist. That's something I'm learning too. It's like about like taking up space and stuff. Like, you should be able to do what the fuck you want to do, right? But it's like people make it seem like, oh, society's so small, there's only certain things that you're allowed to do. But it's like you could do whatever the fuck. Like, you want to go
Why
sell
does
pictures?
another thing, Magic? Why does work have to be? Why do people have this mindset that work has to like? If they see you smiling or having a little bit of fun at work, they want it to be not
And
fun.
yes, I've noticed that
Why?
too. Yeah, because I was a manager at my job, right? And I was like, I'm never gonna be like that. If I see people talking, having fun, and there's nobody in this
Hmm.
bitch, because most people, like, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean, right? So if you're
Hmm.
sitting there
Hmm.
talking to somebody, oh, you need to get to work, you need to get to work, you need to do this, you need to do this, da, 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 da. But I'm like, yo, somebody sitting here having conversation. I'm not gonna fucking ruin that shit. Like, y'all fucking have fun. Y'all, enjoy your
It's
fucking life.
pointless though. Like, what is the point?
What's the
If
point?
yeah, what is the point? Because is it jealousy that
But
you see
yeah,
someone working and they're happy?
but I felt myself becoming like that. Like, I was like in like the little leadership position. I felt myself like becoming like, oh, you guys got to work, you guys got, because I was like, that's what's normal. That's what my experience was with like. But I'm like, why do I don't want to fucking be like that? Like, I don't want to always like I want to make sure like things are like running good or whatever. Like, we're like, servicing the customers or whatever, right? But if there's nobody in here and we're just fucking talking, like, what the fuck? Have a conversation. Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
Mhm.
who cares? Like,
Yeah.
like fucking have fun sometimes. I just like, what the fuck
Hmm.
is wrong with that
It's
shit?
I think it's unnecessary to make work just the complete opposite of fun. It's unnecessary.
Exactly, I agree.
And also, like, can I give you one example? Like the whole, let's say you're working, as a customer assistant and you're serving, like in a supermarket, for example, right? Just hypothetically, and you want to serve people. At the end of the day, let's say that's your job.
Mhm.
Does it matter if you're sitting down serving people? Does that why is that a problem if someone's sitting down serving
Right.
people? At the end of the day, your job is to serve people. Does it matter why that this is why I brought this up, because it's like, why are you trying to make the person's job harder
Thank
unnecessarily?
you.
Keyword unnecessarily, by telling them to stand
Yeah.
up. For what? To make
Have you ever, yeah, have you ever had that experience where you're like, oh, I gotta make myself look like I'm struggling, or so I could like, so
that's
like,
what they want you. They want you to struggle unnecessarily.
unknown,
What's wrong with the person sitting
so
down?
you
At the end of
feel
the
like you're not
day,
healthy or something. Like, you have to struggle. So if you're struggling and working hard and like suffering, then you're a good employee,
they
right?
feel like
What the fuck is
the whole point of work is to struggle. Like, it's not necessary. The whole point is to get the job done,
that? Period.
not to
Exactly.
struggle.
Exactly. What the fuck is wrong with the world? I
if
swear.
i'm hiring someone if I'm hiring someone in a hypothetical ideal world, to be a customer assistant and serve customers, I don't care if they're sitting down. Their job is to serve customers. Why would I be such a dick and unnecessarily make them stand up just so that they can have backaches? And then I wonder why they can't show up to work because they have a backache because I made them stand up.
Exactly. And you know what? I think that goes into like the minds that kind of discourages people from being self-employed too. 'Cause you hear so many stories. I had to work 80 hours. I struggled so much. It was just so painful and hard for me to work for myself. Like, but it's like, why does it have to be a struggle? If you're like self-employed, right? It's like you choose to do something that you're interested in. Why does it
Right.
have to be you got the pain and suffering of it? You know what I'm saying? I think that discourages people to just,
I'm
stay in the
mainly
work.
talking about employers and managers, like making it
Yeah.
unnecessarily,
Oh yeah. For sure.
struggle. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
But
you're
I think
sitting down, stand up. I'm like, why? You want me to? Do you want me to be efficient at my job? Then let me sit down.
let me sit my ass down. Let me save some energy. Shit.
Exactly, so that I won't call off sick, in
And I won't
case
be
I
burnt
have a
out.
broken back or something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I gotta work 5 days. Let me sit down for these days so I can actually do it and not be burnt out and fucking
And they will
right.
be, and they will say it's your fault that you have a back problem.
Exactly.
Doesn't make sense. Thank God for logic.
I know, right? Doesn't
Hmm.
make like a sense if it don't make sense.
But in a nutshell, based on everything we just said, this is
Mm-hmm.
why in a nutshell, based on everything we said, I recognize that, hey, all all this happens because this is just the way the world is. So since I recognize that this is the way the world is, then again, speaking for myself, the best thing to do is just to not have children.
It says so. This guy says people shouldn't tell women to have their children after having unprotected sex, but he thinks he can tell women to stop having children.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
People
whoa!
shouldn't
I'm
tell
not.
women
No,
to have their.
whoa, no, 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 no. That's not what. Hold on. Let me look at my. So this guy says people shouldn't tell women to have their children after having unprotected sex, but he thinks he can tell women to stop having children. Amazing. Okay, complete misunderstanding. Like, I'm not, if someone wants to have children right now, I'm not going to stop them. I said there's a difference between forcing and encouraging. And I was speaking for myself, like, personally, I wouldn't have children. It's not even just about women. I'm
I
talking
get
about people in general.
it's something women deal with a lot because you know how we have those expectations. Oh, you have to have my kids, and it's like that's weird that you're. I get what you're saying about it. I totally
And
understand.
also, the phrase
Making
"stop having kids" is literally a channel name. Because I said the phrase "stop having kids," that's a channel name. I'm not telling, you know, like I'm not enforcing people to stop having kids. If someone literally right now wants to have kids right now, I'm not going to stop them.
but he thinks he can.
But I'm saying, like, in my opinion, it would be ideal if people want to prevent suffering. It would be ideal for people to stop having kids. But I'm not going to go out of my way to stop people from having kids. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah, because look, people do what you want. If you want to have kids, have.
Yeah,
I have kids. You
yeah.
know, if you don't want to have kids, don't have kids. It's always
Hmm.
it always comes down to like I don't feel like you're pushing your ideology on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
People
I'm not
that
enforcing anything.
yeah, if you're like explaining your ideology, I'm understanding. I'm like, oh, I'm understanding your perspective. It's not like you're forcing that on me that I'm gonna like
Right, exactly.
why can't
This
you know what
is
I'm saying? So it's
remember I
like,
said earlier, like, people,
yeah, what's
it,
up?
it may not be malicious, but people will
Yeah,
misinterpret
so
what you're saying.
it's like anytime people are trying to like understand people's different perspectives, it's like people think they're pushing something on you. But I'm like, I'm a
I,
grown adult. Like I can have a I can like I think that's one of my favorite quotes is like a measure of education is if you could entertain an idea without accepting it. Like you could like understand some of these people with that. I'm not necessarily gonna like take that on as my own. You know what I'm saying? But I could totally understand
mhm.
where you're coming from. I want to learn. I want to
And by the
experience
way, am I shaming anyone
perspective.
for having children? Am I
No, you're
shaming?
not.
Am I
You're
like, how
I'm just
dare you
understanding
have children?
your
Like, no.
viewpoint. Like you're a child free person, so I'm just understanding where you're coming from. So I'm
I just
like,
want people to think before they have children. Like, just people in general, man or woman. I don't know. Yeah, man or woman. I just want people in general. As of right
you know
now.
what? You know what's funny? I wanted to make like a parenting platform before I
Okay.
made this channel. I wanted to make like a platform. I might do that because I do feel like we don't really get to talk about our true struggles as parents. Like we don't really have a space. Because if you go to therapy, I don't know. I've never been to if you go to therapy or something, I don't know. I've never been to therapy. So I would I
I've never
always
been.
I've never been to therapy, but I do be like I just wish we could have like a just like how we talk about biracial shit here, and like we have a space to like talk about things and like get through problems and issues that we're facing. I do want to have a space for parents to like really get down to the nitty gritty about how they truly feel, and they could be anonymous. Like you could be online, and be anonymous. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to put yourself out there. You could totally be anonymous and like talk about. But why would you want to deny life of a unborn? Meanwhile, happily living out your life.
Wait. Hold on. Who's this question for?
I don't know. Why would
Wait,
you want
but why would you want to deny life to
to
the
the
unborn? Okay. This is a good. Let me answer this. But why would you want to deny life to the unborn while meanwhile happily living out your life? Because if just personally, if I deny life to the unborn, then they don't have to worry about suffering. Like, I would rather not have children and them not experience suffering than to bring children into this world and, experience guaranteed suffering. But again, that's just me. I'm only speaking for myself. I don't speak for everyone else. That's my mindset. Do you know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah, I get
me.
it. I totally get
Yeah.
it. I get what you're coming from too. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you understand. Some people don't understand, but that's yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
I thought about it, Anyway.
Yeah, because I'm really a parent. I really understand the struggle. Because you struggle as a
Mhm.
parent, you suffer as a parent too. So
That's
it's like
true,
they'll
exactly.
suffer. They're gonna go through suffering because that's life. And you're gonna
Mhm.
suffer. So I could get why people don't want to do that. Like it's totally okay.
Exactly. And it's not me shaming parents. I'm just saying personally, you know, um that's the thing. I'm not shaming any parents. I'm saying for me, I would rather not bring life into this world because I see the world for what it is. So it's like me personally, the way I see the world, is full of suffering, full of psychopathic, compulsive liars, rapists, etc. Why would I want to bring children into this world? Like, that's why I would deny life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't matter anyway because they're in non-existence anyway, so they're not worried about anything. They can't worry about anything. They're not conscious. They're unborn, so you know
You're inspiring me because I really do want to make like a parenting platform where we
that's
could
fine.
talk about our shit. Because I think that that contributes to why a lot of children like get abused because these parents like they have all this like they got all this trauma and frustration with dealing with their kids because it's like hard. It's really hard. They don't know what to do. They're overwhelmed, and so they take their anger out on their kids, right? Versus if you have a platform to go talk about your shit, I think you'd feel
Mhm.
better. You wouldn't feel angry and upset and frustrated because you could have other people to connect with, and you could talk about your shit, and you could keep it real because it's like people who don't have kids, they could listen to the real shit versus like the cute pictures and the cute baby pictures, and that's all you see of parenting and you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's like,
Yeah,
I
cool.
don't know. I really want to do something like that. Like, I think that would
That's
be good.
yeah, more power to you. I want to say one more thing to this question. Another reason uh is so I'll read the question one more time and I want to add another response. Wait, let me see the question.
Oh, so here you go.
But why would you want to deny life to the unborn while meanwhile happily living out your life? Well, another reason why is because what was I going to say? Another reason is it's unnecessary. There's no argument there. It's literally unnecessary. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying it's unnecessary. Magic understands where I'm coming from. Like,
See what
I'm
you
just saying it's unnecessary. Like,
Yeah.
for me personally, like, what reason do I personally have to bring children?
Mm. Yep.
I have no reason. I'm not. So if I have no reason, then I'm not gonna bring children just for the sake of it. I've got to have a reason.
Yep. I'm gonna do that. I'm really gonna do that. Yeah. And I'm gonna check out like the anti-natalist and yeah. And
Hmm.
it's not like, I hate that, like, cause you know, this trope of like child free women versus women with kids. Like, it's like a us versus them thing. And it's like,
Hmm.
I don't like falling into that. Cause it's like, who's happier? Women with kids or women without kids? And it's like,
Like
you're gonna
like
suffer
a
in life either
competition.
way. But I feel like life. gives you suffering. You're gonna suffer either way in life. If you have kids, you're gonna suffer. If you don't have kids, you're gonna suffer. And you could be happy because you could be both things at one time. One day you could be horrible and sad, and then the next week you could be happy. So that's life, right? It's not always.
Mhm.
So it's like it's always a mix of both. Like it's a gray area, like you said, area gray. Like it's always a gray area. And so there's suffering in life enough, but there's also exactly just like I just said. There's suffering in life enough, but there's also happiness, fulfillment, free will.
Let me respond to this. Let me respond
I
to
hate
this.
your life because you haven't chosen. Don't.
Okay. Wait, first of all, is this a man or a woman? Not that it matters. I'm just
No
curious.
idea.
Okay. All right. Either way, let me read this. There's sufferance in life, true enough, but there's also much happiness, fulfillment, and free will. You obviously don't hate your life because you haven't chose to end it.
I was
Damn.
talking about that earlier though. We were like,
Okay. Let me respond to this. Okay, so yes, but in short, yeah, there's sufferance and there's also happiness and fulfillment and free will to an extent because they're not truly free, but nonetheless. But here's the thing: if if I don't bring a life into this world, then so what? Because they're not gonna miss anything. You know, they have nothing to lose because they're in non-existence. That's my response.
mm,
They're not gonna be missing anything.
hello, hold on, I think you cut out there.
Into this world, they're not gonna miss anything. They're not gonna miss happiness or suffering. They don't have to worry about any of those things because they're already in existence. That's my response. And
Makes sense.
also, can I say one more thing? Sorry, one more thing. The whole, you obviously don't hate your life because you haven't chose to end it. I don't. I could hate my life, but that doesn't mean I'm going to end it because at the end of the day, I don't want to risk the potential pain, you know, in order to off myself. I don't want to risk that. And also, like I said earlier, I don't know if you were here, but I can't guarantee death, you know, like when trying to off myself. What if I become crippled? What if I jump off a cliff, but I don't die and I become crippled instead? That's going to be 100 times worse. You know what I'm saying? But either way, ultimately, I don't want to risk the pain. I would rather. Oh, and one more thing, Magic. Let me ask you a question. Do I have to off myself in order to experience death?
Mm, some people die every day.
Right. So the reason I asked that is basically the answer is no. For example, Betty White, did she off herself in order to experience death?
No, we all gonna die one day.
Right.
That's
So death is inevitable,
it's,
like whether I off myself or not.
it's gonna happen anyway.
Right. So I would rather go out through natural causes rather than unnecessarily causing harm to myself just to off myself.
Yep,
And I might not even succeed. I might be crippled. So that's my answer.
it's gonna come one day either way. One of these days.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I was
Yep.
just responding to the comment. But yeah.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, but definitely, like I was saying, like it's perfectly fine and logical. Don't let okay, even as you in your choices to be child free. Don't let people shame you or make you feel like you're wrong because you're not
Mm-hmm.
interested in having children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with that. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with wanting to have kids and wanting to have a family. I think
Hmm.
that's a beautiful thing. I just don't get people's obsession of like, oh, if you're not interested in the same thing I'm interested in, then I'm gonna shame you about it. Like,
No,
why do
no,
people do
absolutely.
that? Like, why? Like, there's
Yeah,
many
no, absolutely. Yeah,
I don't
no,
get
I
that. Like,
totally
there's
understand.
a million ways to exist in life. Like, some
Hmm.
people like choose to do certain things, and that's what they're interested in. I'm never gonna shame them for. Let me see. So let me see. So let the unborn have some choices you have. With all the suffering, life is still a gift.
Okay. Hold on a second. So let the unborn have the same choice. Why? With all its sufferance, life is a gift. Imagine giving Magic. Imagine me giving you a gift that involves sufferance. Some gift, eh?
Mm.
Mhm. Would you take it if
Okay.
I gave you a
So
literal
gift.
physical gift? If I had an actual gift in my hand and I gave it to you and it came with sufferance, would you accept the gift?
Uh, if it had like negative
No, I
side
mean a
effects,
literal physical. Let's say I don't know. It could be anything, some object, and it came with sufferance. Would you accept that kind of gift?
mm, Probably not. Probably not. But
Or and
life
what
is
makes you say that? I'm not talking
life
about life now. I'm
is
just talking about an object.
I think of life as like, because we learn lessons, right?
Uh
We're all
huh.
here to like learn and grow. That's how I think of life. Like growing is pain and suffering. So
That's
it's like
fine.
it's kind of it's hard because
Yeah.
sometimes you don't learn your lesson. You got to do the same thing over and over and over again, and it's just
Mm-hmm,
painful. It's just continuous pain over because you're making the same choices, expecting
mm-hmm.
different results. Like that's insanity, right? So it's like that's a choice, and I don't
But I
know.
have a question for this person.
Yeah,
Area Gray. Is she wait, let me see it. Let me see it. So let the unborn have the same my question is why? Why is it necessary? That's my question to this person. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. Why? Not in the keep in mind, everyone, for everyone watching, I'm not being malicious. I'm never malicious. Like on my live streams or anyone, like everything I'm saying is not coming from a place of malice. This is just my mindset. This is how I feel. Like I feel like just life. It's just my opinion, isn't it? I feel like life would be better if people never have been. Like to
that's
prevent any suffering. Period. Again, I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm imposing. I'm just stating what's in on my mind.
it's a
What I think would be better. That's all. You get what I'm saying? I'm not
yeah.
imposing it.
Yeah, that's your choices. That's your life. Like that's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that. It's a
Hmm.
suffering makes your sacrifice. Look, most people. Here's what I think about that. Most people are not going to be remembered. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Right.
you go through history, we were talking about that earlier. Like
Yeah,
if
like the
you learn
soldiers. There are some
history,
soldiers that aren't even remembered.
we don't know
Like
none of
what
these
died.
people. All these tens of thousands, millions of people that died in war. I don't
Mm.
know none of them. Like we know like the one like general figure, but all these millions of different people that we don't know any of them. Like we don't know their names.
Mhm.
Like they didn't really. So most people in history, like you learn history, you learn about 10 or 20 or certain central figures out of all like the billions. There's been over 100 billion people on this world. And how many
Mhm.
people do we really like know about like that? Like not that many. So most people are not gonna be remembered, and that's okay.
Mhm.
And that's okay. We gotta
Yeah,
just fine.
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'll
Yeah.
t- I'll say I'll say one more thing to that person, right? With antinatalists, right?
Hmm.
There is zero there is no bad reason. Like as in, with the antinatalist mindset, like um there's no malice in the philosophy. It's the if anything is the complete opposite, because it's all in good intention. I just want to make that clear, you know, about the philosophy. It's all in good intention. It's about, it's all in antinatalists mean well. They just don't want people to suffer, even if it means people just not existing anymore. But it's not about imposing. Some people like to interpret it that way, but it's not. So Area Grace says, why should life be a perfect cakewalk? Have you ever appreciated anything that was given to you easy or free? No, you appreciate things you worked hard for and earned. But you see, you're missing the point. You say, why should life be a perfect cakewalk? You're not asking the real question. The real question is, why is life a thing? Why does life have to exist, period? That I want someone to answer. If you can answer it, great. But yeah, that's the
I
real question.
that look, we get life for free, right? Like this is like free. Like we're born for free. Oh, hey Don, what's up? But yeah, we're here for free, right? But that was going back to the mindset. We were just talking about that earlier, how we people are so indoctrinated in believing that is struggle makes you worthy of some shit. So like we
Yeah,
have
it's
to
because we're
all
so
struggle.
normalized that
We have to
anyone
all
who
struggle.
challenges that, then
Yeah.
it's pretty, it's odd. It's like, no, this is normal. This is life. I'm like, just because it's life doesn't mean it's okay. It
Yeah.
doesn't, and nor does it have to be like that at all.
I don't really want to
Without,
struggle because there's a difference between working hard and struggling. Like, because like you said, if you are playing a football game, you're working your ass off, but you're not struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between hard work and earning something that you're interested in. You're not being miserable the whole way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're
no,
not.
yeah, due
There's
to
a
lack of
difference.
interest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you could be working hard and enjoying it. You could, some people work their ass.
Yeah,
I love when they're loving what they're doing. They're enjoying what they're doing. They're not fucking struggling and like
yeah.
feeling like shit, right?
It's like fitness like people, like they
Yeah,
enjoy the
they're working
fitness.
hard. They're
Yeah.
working their ass off, but they're not struggling. They're not like, but they're enjoying what they're doing. Like,
But also like what they do requires them to work hard, but you see
Yeah.
they enjoy it, like
So
because
yeah,
of the results that they get at the end. Yeah, that's
exactly.
like a phenomenal physique. I understand
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I totally like agree with that. But this was a great convo. I think I'm gonna go ahead
Oh
and
yeah,
back,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it was good. I really feel better. Like I really do appreciate you so much for. I do think life is good and bad. It's both, right? So it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
life. So it's good to have like little good things happen here and there. And I really do
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming
And
up.
regarding this person, Area Grey, I hope there's no. I honestly hope they don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Like I don't want them to think, oh, I don't impose anything. People like I'm not going to stop people from having children. I'm just stating my opinion that, you know, hypothetically, like, or theoretically, like, I'm stating a theory that it would be um ideal, like, for people in general, myself included, my parents included, to just not have children in order to prevent suffering and just all the bad things, considering the way the world is. That's all I'm saying, but I'm not imposing it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
I
say this stuff not out of malice, but just, also just to get people to think before they have children. I'd rather someone not have children than to have children when they're not ready. Or just, do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, I totally get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
100%.
does that come from a place of malice?
No, I don't think it's coming
No.
from a bad
Yeah.
intention.
No, not
It's
at all.
actually coming from a good intention. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate you talking with me and having a different type of conversation and like, just letting things flow where you're gonna be at. And it's cool to
Yeah.
get to know like some of your different like ideologies and stuff like that and
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
that
Yeah.
you wish you believe in. And yeah, I'm gonna take it in. I'm gonna research it more. I'm gonna look into it and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah. That's it.
yeah.
It's not, yeah.
So all right. It's been fun.
Yeah.
All right. I hope you have a wonderful morning where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely, Magic. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Peace.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Good talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.